Hello, hello, everybody. How we doing? How we feeling? First words, gamma squeeze. Oh, I missed it. Fuck. You lost your bet, man. Not today. Not yet, anyway. I'm, got a few things on my screen I gotta get squared away here. Hopefully you guys can see this all right. Let's see if we can take maybe more of a bird's eye view. There we go. So this is what I actually had. I think it was maybe like a 5-minute chart. Let's look. Yep. So coming in on the day, these were my notes. This was my pre-market plan. I'll just move everything over a little bit so you guys can see what I planned for and how things have gone so far, right? And the idea here was like this. We have these areas where things can happen. So far, oops, my arrows got messed up. How does our pre-market plan look? Happy Friday to you too, Victoria. Thank you guys for being here. Meatwad Luke, good to see some familiar names. Eldred, what's up, man? Thank you for being here, guys. Really appreciate your time and attention. I know yesterday was a fun one. Today has some potential. We're gonna get the intraday positions mapped here as well, so we can take a peek at how things are shaping up. So, how much has the profile changed from this morning to now, right? Obviously, can you guys see these? I just want to make sure we can see this stuff. Maybe this is better. So this was our pre-market plan. What's up, Miggy? Looks very accurate, doesn't it though? Doesn't it though? Fun stuff, right? All right, guys, let's dive in here. I think we've got enough people to kind of get started. It's early. I'm sure we'll get more. But it's a Friday. Things can be slow in the afternoon on Fridays, I think, as well, just because we've already seen some movement. We're at all-time highs, right? We're in the vicinity where things can kind of peter out and people don't know what to look for necessarily. So, big thing to see here from the morning and how things have changed into the afternoon. We still kind of have this potential, right? Now, this arrow is kind of what we want to see. If we can kind of hold this strike and move up here. The issue now, what we're fighting, is this idea that we're kind of just getting crushed on IV, right? In the sense that we don't really have any expansion of volatility. Things are petering out, they slow down, which means this arrow can actually do this, right? And this arrow can do this. And it kind of inflects now. We can come back to this kind of strongest balance on the day, because there's nothing really supportive underneath this spot. If it happens as I'm saying it, just like yesterday, that would be kind of wild, right? But this is what we're kind of looking at. The idea is into the afternoon, if you're over here, you have this kind of passive support to kind of keep us moving higher. But the fear now is that if you can't hold this, the shape of everything above us starts to weigh pretty heavy. And if you can't hold this, you're going to try to come back and find a balance. And as you can see, positionally, guys, there's not really a strong balance on the day, aside from this kind of low area from the morning. And then the stronger balance is this little range underneath that, right? So there is a concern that we could easily just drift all the way back down here. So the easiest long on the day was right here. It was also kind of that do or die spot, right? So if we look at the pre-market, just to give you guys an example of what that looked like compared to now, right? We had a couple clear areas. If you're holding this, you're testing there or the top of the range. If you cover the top of that range, you're probably making it to here. And if somehow you extend, then you start getting gravitationally pulled higher, right? The difference now is what we just said. That's not a really strong balance from the morning. The risk was always under here to kind of come down to this range. So the idea that I have here about if you're holding this, you can get the charm up here into the afternoon because of the shape, right? That's like a bare minimum. This is your line in the sand. And what I like to do, and if you guys have paid attention to these streams or you've seen some of the pre-market plans, it's this idea of like having a do or die spot on the chart. If you're under here today, then you kind of open the door into this lower range where there is some room to go and there's some volatility that can help get you there. But that's also kind of the best risk to reward spot to take along from. Because if you know that just the passage of time is telling you, if you're not down here into the afternoon, you're pretty much going to be holding over this spot because everything wants to hold you up. So you've got two things in your mind that can be true. If we're going to sell, it's going to have to be early, right? Otherwise, you have a lot of things working against you to go much lower than this spot, right? So if you're not seeing that, or you're seeing a morning test down into that spot, what correlates with that a little bit, right? You've got the overnight session pretty much never really broke too far below. We're getting that initial pull back down. And I know that if we cover this strike on the way back up, I can at least target 15 points, right? And if it continues to break out, I know the top of that range is right here. So, fun story. Caught it both ways. But I did take the initial rejection up here at the open today. This was my first trade. Was if we actually open and press into this upper test, I don't know that we just squeeze. I'm saying, prove it to me. I am willing to say this is the biggest upside test on the day. I'm going to take a little 5-point stop, and I'm going to see if we come back to the strongest balance. And then I had an NQ long from there, waiting, a limit order, saying, okay, just in case we bounce where I think we're going to bounce, I want some long exposure. So that's my two-way trade on the day. I took the ES short, had the NQ long. I'm still holding the long at break even, just thinking maybe we get this continuation higher, right? But that's how you can use that morning profile to identify your ranges. Range number one, bigger range I'm looking for upside today. Best case scenario, right? Now I'm a little less enthused. Maybe we can get that extension and set a new high, right? But I'm kind of thinking we might get some low volume, low volatility. Nobody's really here to bid it up. London's closed. We got a holiday on Monday. We can just kind of drift around and maybe come back and settle at this balance area, right? But I had exposure. So I should probably actually move my stop to kind of right along in here, but on NQ, do that over here. But hopefully that makes sense to you guys. You have questions on that or how I came up with that plan for the day? Does that make sense? Do you kind of see the logic in being able to two-way trade this range? It was a calculated risk, right? I was risking that this could have just exploded without me. And it covered this strike and it just kept going. But I also had it in my mind, all right, like this is the test on the day. This is like the spot we have to clear to really break out. So I was happy to just take a bet and say I'm most comfortable longing from here because if we sell, it should probably sell really aggressively all the way through. And if it doesn't, I know that just the passage of time means that this do or die spot into the afternoon is the most important strike to hold on the day. Because if you don't, you're in trouble, right? So that's where I was waiting for a long, and I was happy to take the short because we opened and tested right into that right off the bat. So yeah, hopefully you guys can kind of see that there's a method to the madness with these plans, right? Like none of this stuff exists in isolation. There's always an if-then for me. If this happens, then I'm looking for this, unless this. So I was happy to have a really tight risk right here to say if SPX tests this 7,500, So ES right here, the 75.15. I am looking for a 5-point, and thankfully I got it. I was actually worried that it wasn't going to get deep enough in there to hit my order. But we got it, right? Anyway, let's go back to the current positions. I think we've covered the pre-market plan enough. And how things are sitting now, right? So we still have this possibility. Our ceiling on the day is probably going to be this 75, 25, 30-ish, right? So if we can't hold this spot, what are we looking at? Probably coming back down to this balance, right? Filling the bottom of the day's range. And the only way we're really meaningfully getting any lower is if you have some like really strong volatility, right? But we know by default, everything's kind of just like passively supporting us. So we can probably just range around here. But the best case scenario for us is to kind of at least go test this 75, 25, 30 area on ES. I just have very low expectations for the reasons stated, right? So unless we get some news, we get some kind of a stronger bid, I just don't have a lot of faith for the upside. So even though we have those positions like yesterday that look like we can squeeze through them, that's only if we move into them, right? Because those red bars are only momentum for us if we push into them and through them, right? Once we're on the other side of them, then market makers are buying as long as we're on the other side of them. But it's resistance until it's not, right? Until you earn the right for it to support you, we're just kind of flailing here. But I think it's also a sign that we haven't sold all the way back through this range. That kind of speaks to like the passive nature of what's happening, right? We've got a lot underneath us that's kind of keeping us afloat. And there's no real volatility, right? VIX isn't ramping right now. But VIX also is not dropping either. So we're just kind of in stasis, if that makes sense, right? We're not actively going anywhere. But I think you guys can see, even though the afternoon positions have changed, the ranges are still, the structure, I should say, is largely still intact, right? Hey, A. Miller. Yeah, thanks for asking. This is just a custom personal indicator. But what you guys can leverage is there is a service called VS3D that I use, and I just pull the numbers of those counts, those positions. I don't know why I'm pointing at this screen that you guys can't see. But these numbers that you see here are the SPX strikes, and then the total contracts after the London close at those positions. So I'm just like inputting those values into this indicator. So if it stays under the red range, then selling continues. Yeah, that's the idea. Is that like this is the range that we're in right now. So unless you're over this, the market isn't helping you accelerate up. These would be like wind at your back. If you caught a bid and you had some momentum, it helps sustain that momentum, either direction, right? So like when I took this rejection play this morning, this strike was a little bit bigger. So I said, that's the biggest test. So unless we pass it right away, if we pass that test immediately, I'm happy to be wrong, 5-point stop, right? Really tight risk. But if I'm right, we had the potential to come back to the strongest buying area where I know market makers are going to buy some futures to help me out. That's why I took the NQ long to say, I'm willing to ride this short. And if we fall through it, awesome. But just in case, I'm taking a calculated bet here, 25-point stop on NQ. I think we turned course there. So then I had my trim right here. As far as like my trail stop, 75.90 was kind of like, all right, if we dip that and come back, I'm not giving it any more leash because I know everything down here is saying you're probably going to bounce. And this is your do or die strike. This is where you've got to hold into the afternoon to be able to get this kind of a recovery, right? Yeah, sorry, Dara, I did not. I was late. I've got a really busy real job time right now. So I just did not have time. I put it in the Discord like super early for me this morning. And so that's where it lived. So apologies for that. But I'll be better about that. But that's also like why Discord takes my focus because people actually pay for the Discord, so I want to make sure that I always post it there first. And it was just an image today. I never actually followed up with the video. I just did not have time today. But at least these boxes that you see, like this was, I feel like this was enough, right? The risk is under here into the afternoon. But that's if you get down and stay down. If you hold 74.90, then it's potentially moving up into this area, right? And then if we did happen to get up here early and we caught a big squeeze move higher, this is kind of the zone where things should start to slow you down because of all this stuff up here, right? So if we do the arrow game, right, this is where you're expecting to meet heavier resistance, okay? Anyway, that's a lot of arrows and stuff. I don't want to confuse new people. If you guys are just joining, thank you for being here. You've kind of missed out on our recap of the morning action, which we're kind of talking about right now. That's what these boxes were detailing. What I was expecting coming in on the day, right? So we opened here. We got our first big push higher. There was a bigger position here. I took a short. I also said I had a long on NQ because I was looking for this to kind of be the do or die spot on the day for longs. So if we got back into here, that's my tightest risk to reward for longs. Up we go, right? All right, exact same idea this morning, using none of what you said. That is how it goes, true trades. What I like to think is that if you are looking at something else and you're not aware of this, and you're not aware of where market makers are holding billions of dollars of hedges that they have to buy and sell futures for, this is like the why behind your line on the screen, right? So let's look at that. If we were looking at the rake levels coming in on the day to kind of give some confluence here, I'm going to delete these because I'm sick of looking at them. If we had rake levels on the day, why do you think these rake levels are important? Where's the confluence with that? Right? If price moved into those levels and we got a bounce off of it, it's just a line. But the power of what I see is that there is data behind it that tells you market makers have 3,000 plus contracts in these two strikes alone, which equals X amount of hundreds of minis that they're going to buy if price moves into those strikes. Glory to the Trinitate. What is this? This is Gamma, baby. This is how market makers influence the market based on how they hedge their option positions. So if you want a hard number, let's go look at the old Gamma. Right now, we are in a negative Gamma range, basically, which you guys can see, right? This whole little red stretch here. So we can accelerate through both directions. Market makers have to assist us to the tune of about, today, pretty light, 600 million every couple minutes. But if we moved up here, where I said this is where you would expect to start seeing some resistance, heavier resistance, market makers would be selling about $10 billion worth of exposure to hedge. So that would be like 400 minis. So if you want to know kind of like where the market influence comes from, the strength of moves, like yesterday, if you guys weren't here on the stream, we ended up seeing this huge Gamma squeeze here because it squeezed through an entire red range in minutes, like a couple minutes. And this is like fuel, right? If you ever wonder, like, why did that move go 40 points like that? But another day, it took 4 hours to make that move. This is generally what happens, right? Market makers are kind of selling against you. It's better to know, where is that resistance going to be, right? Where are they going to help us if we get a pop, if we get a strong bid? Where can we really move through? So even right now, if we got a strong bid right where we are and the market woke up and they said like, man, we're going to buy this, market makers would have to assist you all the way up until we got to like 75.30 basically, which is where they might encounter a little bit of resistance. So I think what you can see right now is even having that information at hand, there's just not much movement. There's no flow forcing market makers to assist, right? So we're just kind of chopping around. Thanks for being here, Deep Intel. Yeah, hopefully this is helpful for you guys. If you ever wanted to know, what moves the market, this is it. Who's taking those positions? When you're buying a call, when you're selling a call, when you're buying or selling futures, who is transacting with you? Right? Market makers. That's where the real liquidity comes from. If you really thought that there was one person for every trade that you're taking out there, to the tunes of all those billions of dollars of transactions, you're kidding yourself, right? There's a lot of people trading, but market makers in those firms are holding the big money. So whenever anyone talks about them, they don't want me to win, they see my stop loss, it's not true. They only care about their position that they are holding because of you, right? If it works for me, who am I to say anything? Well, I don't know if that's a criticism or not, but I mean, this is just factual information, right? If we're getting that data from SIBO and they're tagging it saying this was a customer, this was a firm, this was a bank, right? This was a market maker holding that position. Who's on the other side of the position? Who's holding the money? And then how do we know they have to react, right? Have I heard of Gex board? Newer but cheap in their beta. No naive Gex. I haven't, All Out God. I can certainly take a peek and let you know what I think. But I tend to lean towards the people who have done the real job. So that's why I like VS3D. That's why Spot Gamma is beneficial. You got Volland. A lot of these services that do the Gex, right? If they're not, if they're not naive Gex, Jesus. How they do their modeling of the Greeks is where services vary. So you just got to make sure that you're that you are putting your money behind a product that is like verified doing the business, right? It's really easy to have some Claude induced thing, right? But yeah, I would just say do your due diligence, right? But options depth is a really good one. I think options depth right now, I saw that you can get like 50% off for like 3 months. So if you want to try it out, that can save you quite a bit. And they have different plans too, right? Like if you're like me, and guys, let's just look at this. These ranges were drawn at the pre-market. Okay. The current positions, the current bars you see on my screen are what? The most recent, like intraday. Updates every 10 minutes. I'm pretty sure options depth has a plan where you only get the like once or twice a day updates to positions. So if that's cheaper and you can build a plan like this just off the pre-market and accept that maybe things change intraday, but you are primarily trading like the opening 3 hours of the market, the pre-market profile kind of generally tells you the structure of the entire day, right? So I think that there are different services out there you can leverage that, like, you don't have to spend for VS3D. Like, to me, it's like the best option, but that's just my personal preference, right? If something else came along that was just as effective but cheaper, then I'd think about it, right? Cost benefit analysis, return on investment, what am I getting? But it has to work for you if you guys want to leverage this. If you already have an Unusual Whales subscription, for example, there's a Periscope add-on that I think generally gives you some pretty close analogs to what I see with VS3D. All you. Naive Gex, Adam. It's basically Naive Gex is kind of like using open interest from the options chain and then just doing like a really simple measure of most market makers are short calls and customers are long calls, market makers are short puts. It's just like approximating things in like kind of a very binary. Over this spot, it's mostly positive gamma. Under this spot, it's negative gamma. And I don't really ascribe to that. I don't put as much value in it. So yeah. Yeah, true. This is just one of those things, like this is premiums get killed just on the passage of time alone, right? Let's look at the straddle. The straddle to start the day was almost 50 points. Do you know what it is right now? 20. So on my chart, you see up here, right? That's basically telling you this is what the pre-market expectation of price was from 74.95 on ES. It was saying we can move up here and we can move all the way down here. That was the expected total range on the day. And now it's only 20 points from where we are, right? 18, 28. So still well within that range. But it just means that things are tightening up. The more we chop, the tighter that range gets, the less likely we are to move substantially. Has there been a big change between pre-market and now after London close? No. So these little ranges that you see, Gmod, these were drawn pre-market. So what makes those ranges what they are is still largely intact, right? You have this bigger range between the dealer positive exposures, the strongest ones, let's say. And then you've got your tests in here between them, right? The difference between pre-market and now, we'll just see how it looks when we overlay them, right? This was bigger in the pre-market, less so now. Or sorry, this was bigger in the pre-market, less so now. This is now your biggest upside test, right? But you're still within these kind of smaller ranges, right? We're holding onto this. It's kind of supporting us as long as we're over it. But if we lose it, we're likely to go back to the bottom of that pre-market range. Okay, so if I take the current positions off there, we'll just clean it up a little bit for you, right? Nothing substantial, but still decent. But the risk now is any kind of selling pressure is going to pop volatility, which means it's going to induce selling through this range more than likely. But you have to have it, right? Market makers react. If there's nothing to react to, there's just this passive drift of time. And if there was no flow in the market at all, and we just were thinking about charm, like the options are just going to expire, right? What is kind of the passive path for us to walk down? If nobody's buying or selling and the options just decay, right? Let's say nobody comes in and buys or sells anything. But every 10 minutes that pass, we're going to go somewhere. That's where these arrows kind of become a thing. If we're not over this strike into the afternoon, we are going to find a balance lower. If you're not under this green strike into the afternoon, you are going to follow this path until you meet the resistance or the balance higher, right? So I would say that if we don't do anything the rest of the afternoon, nobody bids and nobody like really flushes, we should naturally probably drift back down to here because there's nothing really magnetic to the upside that's being priced in. So if the straddle right now is saying, hey, we're only thinking we move about 20 points, and that number is getting smaller also if we're not moving anywhere. The more we chop, the more the straddle comes down. Yesterday we talked about that vice grip. It just keeps getting tighter as time runs out. That's kind of what we're dealing with. If we don't actually get up here, we can't get stuck up into this next range, right? If we don't cover this strike, we can't get magnetized higher. So it needs to start happening soon. Okay? But even if we're just holding over this strike, we can kind of see where we should want to maybe drift up to, right? But we got to start moving. We got to get going. Because if we don't, we're probably just going to go sideways to slightly down. Okay? That's just kind of how it's going to happen. But that's just passive, right? That's assuming there's no flow in the market. So if all of a sudden we get a bid or we get a really strong sell, how are market makers going to push us either direction, right? If there's a big bid, you can see where we would want to go. We would want to go really quickly to go test 75.30. But if we get a sell, we're probably going to go down here, but probably not much lower unless it's really strong selling, right? Because then it would have to overcome all of these strikes that market makers we know are waiting to buy futures down there. Right? But again, on a slow day where I'm sure if we look at like I'm not a big volume guy, but I do it because people like it. And we're starting to peter off on the volume front, right? We're just going nowhere. Until somebody does something, we're doing jack shit. We are caught between two minds. We are, like I said, that's why it's helpful to know, like, what's the passive situation. Because I don't care. We're going to move with volume or not, right? It's all about what's happening in the moment. I don't care. I look at this. I know I have an if-then plan. I'm not using that to be like, oh, if we get volume there, right? Who cares? The market's going to move with little volume, with a lot of volume. Oh, it's only 15% of yesterday's volume. Are we moving? Can you trend without volume? Yes. So who cares? Volume profile is something you can look at and just like get a confirmation backwards looking, right? Of where has most of the activity been? How much of these let's do it. Screw it. You know what? Let's just play with it. Like I said, guys, this whole thing to me is about Confluence, right? I've got rake levels on the screen. What do I know coming in on the day that makes this 7500 SPX 7515 kind of a key level, right? There's a rake level there, but I knew what was over it at the start of the day. That was the biggest resistance coming into the day, right? Now, I know that if we're holding this strike and we get any bidding that's strong, we're going up here to this level. But what do I know about that rake level? There are a bunch of market makers who are selling against me unless I can push through it with some juice, right? So let's say we're going to do the whatever thing. Weird. Volume says we've been chopping around in this range all day. I mean, how is that helpful to you? No shit. You can see it on the bars. Oh, we've been spending the most time up here. We've probably had the most transactions and volume up here. Duh. Come on, man. Like, great. You needed confirmation for what you could already see with basic price action? Good for you. You know? I don't know. I'm not trying to be a hater, but it's just kind of like, and? If we had low volume as the day's gone on, what do we already know? Most of the action happens in the first 30 minutes and the last 30 minutes of the day. So? How does that, like, and? Have we trended since volume has started going down from the morning open? Did we not catch a 40-point move almost? On low volume? Oh, God. The market moves either way, guys. So, I don't know. No, that's fine, Dara. Like, you're just using that to, like, again, it's just saying, like, where has there been activity? So if you have lines on your screen, I have rake levels. Oh, there's been activity there. And what am I adding to that? What is my confluence that tells me I should go long or short? Are we trending? Are we ranging? Do I have a buy signal or a sell signal? Did my signal fail? Right? It's confluence with something else. You have to use it with something else. You have to have something to like make a trigger with it, right? And again, that's just it all out. Is I'm not saying you can't use it for something. It's just like you have to tie it to something else. Like, how are you using that volume to say, if we're under this, I'm a buyer, because it's like value, right? Or I'm selling from over here because this is a good value spot, because you short from the top, you long from the bottom. I mean, duh, right? Sell high, buy low, right? That's all volume profile is. It's just telling you like where generally are you looking for the best deal. I'm sure there's some ICT concept for that too, right? Like fair value or something. It's an approximation. But as far as what I'm looking at, I know what's actually like guaranteeing you that somebody has to do something to the tune of X amount of minis, right? So what did I say? If we hold this and we catch a bid, where should we go? Where should we go? Anybody in the chat, where should we go? On ES, on my screen, where should we go? Yes, 7510 SPX, 7530-ish ES. Bingo. And how are we going to get there? What is helping us get there? What do we know has to happen now that we're over this strike and we move into 7500, 7515 ES? What is the mechanical reaction if we move through that strike? Market makers buy. Right? If you didn't have that information, you are looking for a candle to confirm or deny that we are doing something, right? But I know if we reject here and we reject here and we lose this, I know that someone is going to be helping that, right? The whole risk on the day has been there's no real strong support below us from a hedging perspective. So I am banking on two things. I got in at the right spot where I know there was support, and I got the assistance, and now two things. If I'm over this strike, the passage of time alone means that market makers every 5 minutes that we're over this strike are going to be buying minis, buying minis, buying minis, just because of time. No other interest from them but the passage of time, right? But if we get back under that strike, I know the opposite is true. And I know that if there's some selling pressure, it's going to accelerate because that's a really big strike. So for me, if the bid is real and they can push it into the next strike where market makers have to react, we should definitely accelerate and get up to this strike. Because it's mechanical. They have to do it no matter what. They are obligated to their positions to have to buy and sell. If we know the conditions for where they do that, we can make our bets on the mechanical response. If this happens, then this should happen, right? So yeah, if you're using like technical analysis and price action, again, it's Confluence, guys. Like I don't use that as much. Like that's why like I'll buy a wick. I don't care. I'm not waiting for some kind of special trigger all of the time, personally, because I have enough confidence in what I believe should happen. If this happens and we pull back to this strike, then I'm looking to long with a risk of this, knowing that unless volatility keeps ramping up and the selling pressure is consistently strong, the reaction is market makers have to buy here. And the more rapid the sell is, the bigger the buying response is going to be. So buy the wick. Take your bets, right? It's a coin flip. We're just getting more things to line up. The difference between me and what other people use is that I have something provable. I'm not waiting on a candle. I am knowing what has to happen, and I'm betting on the probability that what they have to do is going to influence the market in such a way to send it the direction I want, right? Or at least in a range. So like I said this in the Discord, if you guys are in there, you saw it. I don't even know how many days we open and pull back and everyone's like, oh shit, I should go short. We're under the opening print. And I'm down here buying because I know that this is the do or die spot. If we're really going to sell through here, there is something that mechanically would have to happen to get the push from market makers to help it flush. And if there are things that just by virtue of the overall structure of the positions tell me that is highly unlikely to happen, because you've got 20 strikes of market makers sitting there long, meaning that's 20 strikes worth of ES futures they're buying in size to the tune of billions of dollars of positions they're hedging, I would have to see extreme persistent volatility to really get deeper. So if we're in an uptrend and we get a pullback and we know there's market makers sitting there that have to buy, I'm happy to take that buy. I have very defined risk. But again, I took the short on ES, I took the long on NQ. I was holding one, I was waiting for the other. right? Two-way trading, baby. If, then, unless. Power in the data. So hopefully that helps you guys kind of figure out where I come from with this stuff. But as far as the rest of the afternoon goes, if you're just joining, sorry I went on a tangent there. I don't think there's been as many people that have tuned in, but appreciate you being here on a Friday and a holiday weekend regardless. But I think it's quite obvious what we're looking for from here. We are looking for a test up to like this 7510 SPX, 7530-ish on ES. If we get there and we get some extra juice, obviously you could potentially get, you know, kind of that squeezy run higher. I don't know that you really get substantially higher than that. I think the weight of all of this becomes very suppressive to price expanding. I don't think that we're going to get a lot of flow to kind of overcome these contracts that until you're over them, they are selling against you, right? The main thing that could happen is if you got a quick enough pop up into this area, this 7530, then there's kind of this idea of like a magnetism up here. Because we like to settle where these two things meet, right? Where there's magnetism to market makers. So I think it's either chop fest here and we just hold the 75, kind of 7505-ish on ES, and we just kind of fade and maybe drift up a little bit. Because like I said, that's like positionally what it looks like we should be doing. Otherwise, I think it's really easy to think you just kind of maybe fade back somewhere down in here towards 90, 85 maybe. I don't know. But again, that's assuming we don't get any like assistance, any flow. I think it's really easy to just look at this and say like, if it's not this like kind of 7480 area on ES right here, like kind of this little penny. I know you guys love my arrows. I know you love them. So if we're kind of hanging around here but not moving higher, I think this is likely. You know? But if you do get some selling pressure, then, you know, down here is more likely, right? Against the strongest balance. But the straddle just keeps decaying. Now it's like 17 points. We were like 24 points just a little bit ago. So it just keeps, you know, grinding around. Grind, grind, grind. Going nowhere fast. Why my volume profile big like that? What do you mean? Why is my volume profile so big? Hey, ask my mom. What is your indicator? Horizontal green and red lines. New guest here. Ramella, this is market maker positioning represented on my screen. So basically, where are market makers long and where are they short? If they're short, let's pull up the basics. Okay, let's do this. We'll make it nice and big for you. Dealer short means volatility, momentum. They assist the move, right? If they're green, it means price slows down. If there's green bars over us, we slow down into them, okay? So, do you see a lot of green bars on the chart? I don't. There's really not a lot to slow us down, but red bars also are selling until you move through them, right? So if we get on the other side of these things, that's what these arrows are saying. If you get on the other side of this one, each one that you clear, that's more buying. The further you get from this big bar, the more futures the market maker has to keep buying as you move. So it's momentum. It's a squeeze type of behavior, right? So that's kind of how you leverage this. Am I looking for more trades today? God, no. Like I said, I'm sitting in an NQ long from down here. So what's my... I gotta look. So I can pull it up here so you guys can see. Oh, God. Filthy. Yeah, my entry... Let's look. Let me pull my broker up. Yeah, I was 29,522. So I'm about right here. So I'm just sitting long in that. And I'm happy to just let that go. If we keep drifting higher and we get the break higher and we get the assistance on ES and SPX to kind of pop up here another, 20 points, great. Is there a way for you to anticipate or predict flow? Can you expect when volatility will increase? Yes. You can anticipate and predict it. I'm not in the business of making predictions. I'm making educated guesses, right? Based on what I do see. But if volatility expands, right, with the red bars, it's a two-way street. You've got volatility up and volatility down. Everyone thinks volatility means selling. If there's IV expansion because these calls are growing, you know, more likely to become in the money, I know that we would accelerate here. I'm banking on volatility realizing as we move through this stuff. If implied volatility becomes realized volatility, it's because we got to where it was priced to go. If IV is a reflection of something more likely to be in the money than not, right? Or less likely to be in the money than be in the money, then that's like implied vol down, implied vol up. If it realizes directionally, that's where the red comes into play. It's expanding volatility. It's like one thing that a lot of people get confused about is what volatility means. Volatility is essentially a disagreement in price, a bigger range between where things are agreed upon. So if you're a liquidity person and you're like, oh, it's a liquidity sweep. Oh, okay. Well, it just went to where you know somebody's waiting, right? So if there's less agreement between those places, that's how you can look at market makers being long or short, right? If you accelerate through and volatility expands, you're trying to find where volatility may not expand any further, right? That's where all these green bars are. That's where price slows down. When market makers are long positive gamma, it absorbs volatility. It slows it down, right? So then all those people that maybe bought these calls up here at 75.50 on SPX or 75.65 on ES, they bought that and we start moving higher, that volatility expands. Oh, I might be in the money. But the second we sell and we're not actually close to that, what happens? The IV gets crushed because it's no longer probable, okay? Because those green bars in the way said, your volatility doesn't get to realize. We're not getting there. We're going to slow it down. We're going to stop it. So that's why we move. That's why you get momentum when there's all of this red. That's why yesterday we got that big ass squeeze because it was nothing but red, right? If you guys were on stream yesterday, you saw us call that out, the potential for that to happen. All it took was a bid. We get over that strike. Bing. Right? High IV is not bad. It's just telling you there should be a bigger expected range coming in. Okay? Sorry, Gmail. Can you talk a little bit about divergence, how that helps you or goes against you? Yesterday, NQ was up while ES was slamming down. I only care about this. I only care about what I can prove, right? I only care about the thing that I know correlates very tightly more than anything else in the market. There's nothing more liquid than SPX and ES because of the hedging dynamic we just talked about. NDX and NQ are not as liquid. That's why you go trade NDX options, you're going to get your shit pushed in, right? Unless like you really know what you're doing. Because it's spready, it's not as liquid, right? So that's why I look at this. But what I will do is I will see how NQ is moving. And if I think like, oh, we're coming into a strong support today, that's why I longed NQ. I was already short ES, but I wanted to take a long. I didn't want to fully exit my short just in case my runners went lower and we did accelerate through and we did get really strong volatility, but we did not. So I took the NQ long. That's how I use it. If there's extreme divergences, that's something else, right? But like I'm primarily looking at this. Would this be a candidate for two flies, one target, 74.80 or 75.15? Let's put it this way. I am more likely to put a fly on for like, because we're so far away from it. We're at 74.95-ish on SPX, right? So if I was trading a fly, I would be targeting like 74.70, like a 10 wide or something. But the problem is the straddle's already so low that like you're not getting the best price. You could have pretty much said on the day, I don't think we pin higher unless we really ramp. So the higher we go, the cheaper it's going to be for me to get down. What happened? Got a little volatility. We shoved under this big strike. Now we're at risk of dropping back down to where? 74.70, 74.65 SPX, right? This is what you watch for. Is it behaving as expected? Hopefully that answers your question, Daniel. That's what I would be doing. I'd take the convexity play. It's far enough away. If we fail, that's where we should settle. So I'm going to put a cheap fly on, and I'm going to just think that we drift lower as opposed to higher if we fail to hold this strike. If we hold this strike, then I would maybe look for up here around like 75.15. Yeah, Gmal, that's too soon to say. It's one candle. I think we're just going to keep chopping around. There's no volatility. There's no like persistent selling. We're not gonna just drop like a rock all of a sudden. Is there a guide or playlist you recommend we go through to get more familiar with all the terminology? Watched all the YouTube streams back that I've been on. Go look at my Instagram. If you want to know more in a hands-on approach, you can come find me on the link in my bio on Instagram, and we can work together. I just worked with somebody yesterday. So that's where I would say if you really want the hands-on approach and you want all of your questions answered one-on-one, we can do that. If you just want to take the long game and just kind of watch these streams and pick it up little by little, I feel like I explain it in a way that's simple. You would just have to have access to a platform that gives you the data to see these bars, to see these positions, and then you can start putting it into use yourself, right? So in this case, you took NQ instead of ES. Did you pull up the position of the NQ chart or just follow the... I was only looking at ES, and I pretty much was like, okay, where are we on NQ? How closely do I think this correlates? Bing. I just hit a market order when we got there. Because it's so hard to correlate ES with NQ from like a strike to strike, because NQ is more volatile. I think it's like 40 points on NQ is 10 points on ES. Generally, I think that's a decent ballpark. So, I mean, you could even just take one MNQ or something as a test if you were using this framework and be like, okay, Mitch said that if we get down here, he's looking for a long. I'm going to take 2 MNQ or 1 MNQ. And if we get a 30-point move on ES, you're probably getting like 120 points or something on NQ, right? So hopefully that makes sense. That's how I would use it. How did I learn about convexity? I hear gamma, don't people? Convexity is just like the idea of asymmetry. A little bit of risk for a big return, right? If I can pay the least amount of money to make the most amount of money, how do I do that? So there are strategies with options. If I know that the range on the day from here into close is we either go up here or we go down here, and I need to place a bet that's really cheap but can return me X amount of money from an options perspective instead of futures where you're tied to the same amount of money no matter what. My $50 of risk is $50 per point, right? So that's it. On ES, one mini is $50. No matter how far or how little I go, it's $50 per point, okay? But on options, it's convexity because you have volatility. You have things that impact the price of an option. That's why options are God, because you can turn a little into way more. Where like with futures, it's all about how many points I capture. I can only make so much with that amount of points, right? If I catch a 40-point move on ES, it's only ever going to be meh. But on options, if I catch a 40-point move, depending on which option I buy or how I structure my trade, I can turn $100 into $4,000, right? And I don't even have to go 40 points. I can just get it on the volatility pop. That's how options convexity works. Yeah, IV is just what is implied, right? If I go and I look at an option, if I go pull up a 75.30 call on SPX right now, the delta, what it's worth, like per dollar move, is going to be tiny. It's going to be like 20 or less, right? Because it's not in the frame. The odds of that going in the money are so small, the implied vol is X. So if we get volatility, that IV is going to be really responsive, right? It's going to react because it went from the odds being out of the money were high. So the IV was, reflective of that. So if you do get a big pop, you get a 15-point pop, that's what makes the option move. It's becoming more likely to be in the money as direction moves towards it. But if you're too far out of the money and there's a pullback, all that profit goes away in a hurry, right? Because you are still so far from going in the money. There you go, all out God. Yeah, I mean, options are just a different tool, right? So that's something that you would need to think about on your own. Anyway, guys, we got Christian coming up here in just a few minutes. Thank you for being here. I think we've had some kind of late joiners. I'm sorry if you kind of caught the tail end. We probably covered all the good stuff, but I think the story of the day is, what do we do here at this 75.05 strike here on ES, right? 75. I'm trying to think of what that is. I mean, close enough. 74.90 on SPX is kind of what that correlates to. 74.90 on SPX, if you're over it, you probably drift higher. If you're under it, you definitely probably fade back. How much is a consequence of how much flow comes in. If we keep going absolutely nowhere the rest of the afternoon, we're probably just going to chop sideways and either finish at like 75.15 up here, 75.10-ish if we just drift higher. And if we get shoved under this 74.90 on SPX, then you're probably pinning lower, right? Probably more down here. Like I said, this kind of 70, 75, 65. This is like your, if you're not over this, you're coming back this way. If you're over this, you're probably going to drift higher. If the market comes in and we get a little end of the day kind of bid, maybe you get that ramp out of nowhere, right? But I think it's safe to say, conservatively, you should be looking for like this 75, 30, 35 best case scenario. Anything above that would be a bonus. That's how I'd be framing it. Yeah, no problem, Eric. Thanks for joining. Any specific days off, top of your head, that would be good lives to go back and, I mean, all of them. Go watch the very first Project 365 stream with Jake and I. If you want like an example of being able to call your shot, that was at like 5:30 in the morning. And I said, I think we're going to 70.25 or whatever the hell it was, right? Guess where we ended up? Guess where we literally topped at the end of the day, right? And that's from a pre-market profile at 5:30 in the morning. If we're over this, then this is where we should end up, right? That kind of stuff is, nah, it's not GOAT. It's just a guy who has information, right? So anyway, guys, I'm going to get out of the way. We got Christian starting here in a few minutes. Might end up doing a little giveaway for you guys this afternoon. I'll try to get back on doing those a little bit more next week. I kind of missed my chance. I got some other stuff to get to. So he's coming up here in just about 3 minutes. So stay tuned for Christian. He's Mr. ICT. So if you use that for your trading platform or, you know, execution, whatever you want to say, he can help you there. But hopefully you guys picked up a little information this week. Unfortunately, we didn't get the big old juicer like we did yesterday, but that was a fun one regardless, right? If you guys caught that, go back and watch yesterday's stream. That's kind of that was a banger to call that gamma squeeze out. And again, there's still potential, right? We've got a lot of negative positioning above us. If we catch a bid, if we get it right when I'm about to jump off stream, that would be fucking hilarious. And there we go. God, that is hysterical, guys. I'm sorry. If you ever want to know when people say, oh, you couldn't have positioned for news, the structure is what allows those news reactions to happen. Why do algos fly through certain ranges but not through others, right? This is what you see. But we are also very sensitive to volatility. So if you get a harsh rejection, you can move just as quickly back through these ranges as you move up through them. We saw this yesterday. We got a big pop, we got an immediate wick, and then we got continuation, right? Because market makers had to keep buying. So if we do get that now, what are we looking for? 50, 75, 30, 75, 35 gets covered. What do these arrows tell you can happen? Squeeze, 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 right? You should get up here if that happens. But if it doesn't, and you reject harshly, all of these negative positions can have the exact opposite effect. Because volatility does matter. Volatility and market flow override passive buying and selling all day long. So that's where it helps to know like where are market makers positioned and what should they do? What do they have to do, I should say. So even right now, every reason to think that we get up to like SPX 75, 15, 20, maybe even higher on a squeeze, right? So if we see this persist, we know that they have to keep buying. If we get up here, they're going to keep squeezing. Even if it was a news headline, the thing that allows it to happen is if the structure was there to allow for that potential. That's why we move through certain ranges, but not others. So if people complain about news, if you have the edge on where's the positioning and where should I go, you can be ready. Okay? Any questions? Anyway, I'm going to get off here. We're going to have Christian take over. at least you guys know where the opportunities are. So even if you're watching Christian and he sees an ICT setup, refer to the Gamma. All right, guys, appreciate you being here. Have a great weekend. Have a great holiday weekend, whatever you're doing, wherever you're going. I hope it treats you and your family well, and we will be back next week to do it all over again. All right, take care. Love you guys. Bye.
As a business owner, keeping track of payments feels like racing. Every invoice a hurdle.
Yo, what up, chat? What is up, chat? How's everyone doing? Man, yeah, we're that same level we were talking about yesterday, the 782. Correct me if I'm wrong. That 782 level is the same level that I see us testing today, and it seems like we're getting it. What's up? What's up? What up, chat? What's up? Happy Friday. Que rollo, Lomeli? What up? Hold on, chat. Bear with me here a second. Let me change a add existing. Okay, let's tweaking my view here. Let's see. There we go. New banner, chat. How we liking it? What is up, everyone? What's up? Letting people trickle in here. Going at the right time, bro. What up? Gamma Flight. What up? Que trans, amigo? Nothing much, brother. Nothing much. So we do have a very interesting day. I think today I just posted a thing on my story. We'll watch charts. We'll watch price here, see if we get some sort of potential entry. Maybe the next 30 minutes to 60 minutes, and then I have a little, I guess, morning routine. I think it's very, very beneficial. I think here, I'll show you guys what it is. I'll show you guys exactly what it is here. So let's see. So here, I was thinking about what we spoke about last time or yesterday. And I found this in my files that I created years ago. I probably created this 2 years ago. And I'll walk through exactly, and I talked about this briefly in the first ever stream I did with Jake. But I think if you're thinking like, how can I stop doing all the bad habits that I am currently doing? I think this will answer a lot of questions, and this is the proper guide to actually train your mind on a day-to-day basis every single morning to actually get to where you want to get to. So yeah, we'll do that. We'll do that towards the later end of stream, and we do have a giveaway. So today, Friday, should be fun. Let's see. Oh, chat, by the way, that behind me, my girlfriend yesterday, I left it on her, I left it on the wall, just I don't know, I guess a token of appreciation for her. I got home from doing work at Starbucks, and she surprised me with a little small gestures, chat. Small little gestures that I don't take for granted for sure. So fuck yeah, just left it on there, and small little stepping stone into the big world. But yeah, thank you, appreciate it, Jake. W Lomeli, what up? What's happening, gang? Right guy. Luke, my guy, what up, Luke? What's good? What up, gang? Little things go far. Fuck yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I'm a huge believer in compound. Yo, Elder. Yeah, letting people trickle in here. We do have a very, very fun session today. I think it'd be, honestly, to date, probably the most knowledge-packed, I guess you can call it. Chat, can you guys hear the lawnmower in the background or no? My neighbor's cutting the lawn and I have the window open. Are you guys able to hear that or no? No? Okay, fire. Yeah, fire. I tweaked some settings on my mic as well to only capture this, so I think it's working. Fuck yeah, chat. How we doing? I managed to catch a small win in the morning. It was a little bit over 1 hour. And yeah, it was a good take, good session, good read. I was done within the first 10 minutes. Let's hop into charts here. real quick. So yeah, now that you guys know the game plan is looking at charts. Hopefully by the time we get to NQ all-time highs, I'm done for sure. More hands off going into Friday, right? Not really looking for much really. I think the premise of today's session will be psychological, like we kind of talked about yesterday. I do have a lot of game on the psychology aspect of trading, which I think that the best way to start would be in the morning routine and how to prep the mind and how to review not how to review the mind, but how to review your trades from a psychological perspective. And that's what this is here, right? That I'll go over it briefly and we'll go into depth. But yeah, it should be a fun one, chat. Should be a very fun one, chat. Only your silky voice, my guy. We have 2K, baby. Let's go. Make another. Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. I appreciate you. Thank you. Getting a coffee delivered, chat. All-time highs? I think so. I think that that's the same goal. Correct me if I'm wrong. That was the objective for yesterday. Or that I brought it up on, when was it? Wednesday or Tuesday? But I said it's not far-fetched to see all-time highs by Friday, and it's looking like we're getting it. So let's see. Not on mine. Okay. I actually heard Manscaped is goated. Fucking Mitch. Fuck. Okay, so let's see. Charts. Yeah, like I keep breaking down, I'm a fractal trader. I'll break down exactly why. I mean, shit. If you were to tell me we're breaking all-time highs, I'd be like, I 100% agree with you. But again, if you've tuned in every single stream, you guys will see why exactly my conviction from down here, literally down here, from this bar, literally this bar. Someone asked, where's your targets around this bar? I said, it wouldn't be far-fetched for me to think by Friday we get to 782. And I'm not saying that just to boast and say I called it out, but it's more so on the premise of like price is fractal in nature, and because of how I trade, because of what I look like, what I look for, things as the week played out, I'm getting more and more conviction. After, when was this? On Wednesday, my conviction rose to all-time highs, and then now coming into the session this morning, still long. So easy read this week, chat. Easy read, in my opinion. I managed to catch a long, like I said, and now we're literally hovering. We just took out London highs, right? And we're literally hovering right underneath prior week high. So let's see. Let's. I haven't broken down price at all, really. This is the first time I kind of opened charts here. Again, I'm going in with the idea that we're gonna like take this out, and after that, I'm not interested whatsoever. And once that happens, we are hopping into fucking a very, very insightful talk here. As you guys can tell, I got really, really good sleep, so I'm fucking energized. I'm pumped. I'm fucking caffeinated. Fucking ready, man. So yeah, this morning we delivered, or what was it? That 7 a.m. candle, we delivered into that bearish fair value gap, which was also a bullish fair value gap. We tested prior day high and we displaced higher, and we've been hovering right underneath London highs, which we literally just took out. So after taking that out, how I trade, I want to be aligned with the 4-hour, 1 hour. Given that the 4-hour, 1 hour has already delivered from basically internal to external, meaning that, to put it simply, we created a potential higher low, and then we now took out the high. And for those keep tuning in, after this area, I want price to essentially consolidate, right? And then the higher time frames to give me another potential higher low to then take a trade to the upside. So with that in mind, the only way I take a trade into a prior week high would be if the next hour closes, and then 12 a.m. candle opens, retraces back into, say, that order block on the hourly. Yeah, but I don't see that happening. I see us just continuing, and for that reason, is why I keep saying I'm more than likely hands off for today's session. Friday, right? PM session. Literally I've traded my AM sessions have been Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I took one trade each day. Thursday, cash, which was yesterday. Today, another one single trade. So it just, for me, it's like, it goes to show like all you really need is one trade a day. I was cash on Thursday, right? And again, with the same premise, I'm collecting cash sessions. That's not the objective. Like, of course, we're here to trade. But if I don't see anything I don't like, I'm not taking it, right? So yeah, chat, for now, hands off, right? Hands off. I guess what I'll do now is I'll explain kind of like I always do why my highest is this all-time high, which we're literally a couple points away. I mean, by a couple, I mean 70 points. But 1 minute candles have been 70 points. So I can see that tagging any moment now. So yeah, we delivered into that bullish gap, right? The daily got a failure to go lower. After that, again, I've been talking about this time and time again. Premium discount, right? We then tagged into premium. So at this day on what was it, Tuesday? Or sorry, on Monday, my objective was this. On Tuesday, my objective was premium of the range. On Wednesday, on Wednesday, the objective was up here. And then on Thursday, I wanted to see a pullback to then see a continuation, right? So if we go on the smaller time frames, on Thursday was the day where ES retraced into discount. Wednesday, yeah, so this was Thursday AM. ES at this point retraced into discount. So if we go back, ES retraced into discount, as you see. And then at this point, the delivery on the 4 hour, check this out, chat. This is, for me, this is very, very clean delivery, given how, watch. So after premium gets taken, right? We come back to discount, which we did, which we talked about, right? Premium to discount. And after discount, everything at this point, everything else is aligning to just go and take out all-time highs. So if you pay attention to every single down candle, let's remove everything. Every single down candle from the moment we tap the weekly fair value gap has been respected. This down candle has been respected. This down candle, was respected almost twice. This down candle was respected. This down candle was respected. Chat, what the fuck? What the fuck, chat? That down candle was respected. And literally the down candle we formed was respected. Chat, what the fuck, chat? Every single down candle of the 4 hour this week was pretty easy, given that the 4 hour was super fucking clear from going into what was it, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Thursday, Thursday, I didn't like the setup, just given the action in the morning and given we were in a weird range, right? Like I mentioned. But the 4 hour delivery has been clean into, I hope you guys see exactly, even if you don't trade ICT, I hope you see that every down candle tends to get respected when there's clean delivery. And why was there clean delivery into that high? The reason why is if we look at the weekly, this was a weekly fair value gap that we tapped into. You can call it a failure to go lower bar, whatever you want to call it. On the daily, we got a failure to go lower, which is the liquidity rate in ICT terms. And so yeah, after if we paint a picture of exactly what happened, every single level that I wanted to see us tap into essentially played out. Even if it wasn't in the PM session, it happened either overnight, AM session. But yeah, we literally essentially, take the magnet off, took out going into early of the week. The target was 742. Then after that, the target was that fair value gap. After that, the target was discount. And then after that, the target was all-time highs. So if we look at it, all it is catching a potential higher low in every single time frame, right? Once the daily aligned with the weekly, and the 4 hours already aligned, the hourly was already aligned. That's why we're getting the moves we were getting yesterday and today. I hope this is all making sense, because it's very fucking straightforward, and it's nice to see. This is a picture perfect example as to what I look for in delivery. Now, if we look at fair value gaps, right? Let's look at fair value gaps. Right, we have that little small one that was created, right? Small one there. We have this small one here, or a little larger one here. And so far, that's been the only fair value gaps on the 4 hour. And if we go on the hourly, we have some here that aligned with the 4 hour. Right, we have this one here that aligned with the 4 hour. Let's make the hourly, we'll make it a different color. We'll make it orange. And then we have this one that delivered away from overnight, which aligned with an order block, right? We have this one right above it. So aligning order blocks with fair value gaps is kind of what I look for as far as like draw, like where are we headed towards, right? And now that we're up here, we're literally, my target is by the way, guys, I'm not saying we're gonna have to hit it, because nothing is a certainty, but with how price is delivering, I would bet more likely than not we are gonna hit prior week highs. Maybe not today, maybe tomorrow, but we are gonna hit it sometime soon. And again, we don't have to do it, but maybe we dump going into overnight or the weekend, and we open up lower and we leave these relative equal highs. That's trading, right? But based off how we're looking now, that's what I would anticipate happening. Again, we took out London highs. Now fast forward to where we are now, right? We took out London highs, and at this point, I would just be patient. I'm not looking to trade anything, right? Because we're not delivering from a higher time frame. So for me, 4 hour, 1 hour, fair value gap, order block, or important low that got taken, right? If I were to zoom in on the 15 minute just to try to take something, it's not really high quality in my opinion, just given there's really no for me, like this is why I would hate, I think it was last week, where price PM session would start. This was AM session would start here, and then PM would be like at all-time highs, and I was left to only trading like the 15-minute, 5-minute pullbacks into new high of days, which I hate. So action like this is action that I thrive under, which is action that is that we have price discovery to the left of us. So yeah, chat, I hope that helps a lot of you guys that are looking to trade how I trade, or already trading the way I trade, I guess. Let's go back to chat. Not on my we're long until we're wrong. Brian, my guy, fuck yeah. You take anything this morning, G? Honestly, had a great week, a green week, money in the bank, one red day. When was your red day? True trades? Yeah, I don't care to chase, especially given it's Friday, brother. No reason to chase. I like that, Brian. Fuck yeah, Brian the GOAT. Looks Max Lomeli. This guy. We don't judge what you look like, bro. How many trades have I taken this week? Honestly, visionary site for AM session, I've taken 4 trades this week. Literally 1 trade every single day except Thursday, yesterday. And for PM, I'm more risk off, so I'm not trading the same size I am with for AM. But for PM, I'm not sure. I know I took. Yeah, I honestly have no idea. To be honest, chat, I really I really log everything for AM, and for PM, I'm more like reviewing my overall, I guess, performance as a whole, not so much the trading. But yeah, so for AM, 4 trades this week and 4 for 4 this week, which is amazing. Need prayers for my sleep, guys. It's cooked. Fuck yeah, bro. It's crazy how amazing I feel. I got, what was it, 7.5 hours last night. I woke up feeling amazing. Trading got done within the first 10 minutes of market open. Hit the gym, ate food, showered, got some coffee. Life is fucking good, man. I could have turned $10 to so $1 million. Fuck. I definitely need to focus on it. Bro, and I'm gonna talk about that, RJV, so stay tuned for that. I'm gonna talk about the mentality behind that and how for me, that mentality right there changed. And I'll explain to you exactly what the fuck to do. Because you're thinking like, or not you specifically, but you guys are thinking like, sure, it's easy, like follow rules, change my mindset, but like, how do you do that? And I got you guys. I'm gonna walk you guys through exactly why or how. Bro, whatever, these fucking candles wild, up 133. God, I had a hard start because that was crazy. Yeah, those fucking right before I hopped on, those 1 minute candles were fucking crazy. But yeah, fucking solid explaining, G. Yeah, hell yeah. Hell yeah, hell yeah. Yesterday. Yeah, so yesterday, that's the day where I stayed cash, true trades, and I think it's because of where we were in price, true trades. So if we go on, or if you trade how I trade, or it doesn't matter. So if we go to yesterday, I remember. So the whole time I was waiting for these lows to get taken for yesterday, which we never did, which was why I didn't take a trade. Why those lows? Because those lows were discount of the range. And so I wasn't looking to short because we were in a bullish gap and my bias was already to the upside, right? My bias was already long bias. And an hourly here, there was an hourly gap, which I know some people took. But the reason I wasn't was because we were in a bullish gap. My bias was long, so and we were still in premium of the range. So for me, I was waiting for these lows to get taken, which again, we never did. And we were stuck in between these two ranges. So every time we're stuck in between two gaps, I noticed that we tend to be very rangy, no matter what direction you have. So if you zoom in on the 5, where's it at? So the bottom one is the 4-hour gap, the top is the hourly gap. We were literally up and down, and it wasn't until we inverted it that we got some direction. Right, so in my opinion, that's why we come back, retest it to the tick. And this is actually where we took our PM trade yesterday into premium of the range, right? But yeah, I think that's why if you try to take anything in this area, that's why it was ugly. But overall though, you manage risk, and that's what matters at the end of the day. That's what matters. My ES long getting cooked right now. ES long. Let's see, what's ES doing right now? Yeah, the thing, like how I trade is very hourly and 4-hour driven. This 4-hour here currently, we delivered from internal to external, meaning that we got a high, potential higher low, and we took out the high. So for me, again, I'm not interested until the hourly or the 4-hour puts in a potential higher low to then trade higher into my next level on ES. I'm not saying that's gonna happen, but yeah, it's just kind of what I'm waiting for and looking for. Went long over ES at 5, debating holding or not. 513, you were long at 513. It's your call, man, but your call. The hourly has been in this range, 4-hour. The 4-hour, I don't see us trading much lower, but at this point, that's not where your stop is. But yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't be entering anything, so just yet, at least. Discipline is hard to develop in trading. For me, it took a lot of pain from losses to finally get my head where it needs to be. Some people get it right away, though. Everyone's different. Yeah, I think, yeah, everyone's different. It's all about, and I noticed, like, I feel like if I were to get into trading now versus when I was 19, my brain would be just more developed. I'm 26 now, right? So I think that I think way differently than when I did then. Back then, I was more, I would say, what's the word? I wanted just to make money, right? Whereas now I am more long-term focused. If we get a clean break under with some volume, I might cut it, but think long is chill. Yeah, I think longs are chill, but under 508. Long weekend this week. Yeah, I'm excited. Honestly, I'm gonna try to do some outdoorsy type of things this weekend and get detached from screens, because man, all fucking day, every day I've been glued to my screens, and I need to find a balance. Tilted towards end, so I'm staying cash. Yeah, so long. Just watch. Stay tuned for for those who just tuned in, because I know there's more people. I here in about probably 30 minutes to 45 minutes. I'm doing a whole morning routine as to what I do, what I look for, what I recite, and I got the PDF because I was thinking, like, what can I really talk about psychology wise? And there's nothing better than this. This is something I created probably like 2 years ago, which was it's the 5 fundamental truths of trading, the 7 principles of consistency. And I got this all from books, all from Mark Douglas and a handful of other books. And yeah, so a way for you to structure your trading day, your trading session, your trading review. And yeah, so I think today's review on this specifically would be very fucking impactful for a lot of you guys, especially if you keep doing the same mistakes over and over again. So I promise you, if you haven't found any value yet, which I doubt, this will be it. I promise you. But that's a bit. After that, after we go through that, we'll do the giveaway. Risk management is more important than strategy. Fuck yeah. I 100%. I think risk management and self-management is more important than strategy. 1,000%. A monkey can get a payout with coin flips eventually if he has solid risk parameters. Yeah, like, shit, introduce me to that monkey. No, I'm playing. No, I know what you mean though. I know what you mean. 100%. I was longing and shorting, watching P&L. So yeah, at that point, you know you're in the wrong. Everyone hit, and we'll talk about this in the psychology here in a bit, the psychology talk. But everyone hits this moment where you know that you're bound to no good, right? Maybe it's like popping up the P&L screen. Maybe it's maybe you, like, instead of sitting back on your chair, you like lean forward and you start locking in, or maybe it's what's it called? You scrunch your toes, or maybe you like grip the mouse a little tighter. So I think being mindful of those things, take notes. What I would do before is have a notepad right next to me, and I would take note. Like, I would come into the day with being an observer of my mind. So like, what is my, like, today I'm not a fucking trader. I'm not anything. Like, sure, I'm gonna do everything as a trader would, but my overall objective coming into the day was simply to take note of what my mind was telling me. And every time I would think about some other bullshit, I would bring back my thoughts to, okay, what am I thinking? I'd get into a trade, my mind would tell me, close now, you're up 1 hour, close now. I'd be like, okay, take note. My mind, like, my mind is telling me to close now because I am up this much. And then I'd be like, was that the right thing? Question mark. And then immediately I'd be like, no. But then afterwards, say for example, I had a tilt date, I'd be like, I'd have certain thoughts of like, for me, it was like my body would get tense, right? I'd start kind of like applying more pressure on my desk / mouse. I would start maybe, I noticed, like, for me back then, like, if a trade would stop me out for break even just to play out, that would tilt me off. So I'd be like, let me just re-enter. And that re-entering aspect at a much larger fill to then stop me out, caused me to go on tilt quite often back in the day. So just taking note of like certain habits and patterns that make you go on tilt. And again, all this is going to be covered here soon. So man, I'm excited. Chat, are we fucking having a full sorry, I'm full of energy, I'm full of caffeine. Big energy Friday. As long as, yeah, so you're mature as fuck for 26G. Thank you, my guy. Thank you. I have a good balance though. I'm very immature sometimes, for sure. How did you think at 23 versus 26? I'm kind of at that point of making money to make it. Kind of at that point of making money to make it, but that good mindset shift to long term. Yeah, honestly, like I still, like for example, like I'm very, I really love cars, right? I love cars, and that's part of the reason why I got into trading. So, right, because I wanted to get a nice car, and of course, with everything else that comes with it, I want to help my family out. I want to make sure my family's set for life. That's partially the reason, right? But now that I could get a car that I want, my mind goes to no, delay that, right? Work on the foundation, right? Some things needs to get done before I actually kind of enjoy myself. So I guess for me, that thinking is what kind of changed over the years. Once I was able to kind of get a car I want, which by the way is not that expensive, but delaying that gratification to then kind of buying it 2-3 times cash if I wanted to later in the next coming years, right? So for me, I think that's kind of what changed mentally from like me at 19 versus, or in your example, 23 versus 26. Me at like 19 versus like me at 24, 25. Honestly, I was pretty patient, but don't get me twisted though. I do splurge, and my splurging is on vacations, or not vacations, trips. I love exploring. I love meeting people. I love seeing new things. I love everything about traveling. I love it. So that's kind of what I spend I spend a lot on traveling. Honestly, I was pretty patient, also waiting for the lows. Didn't happen, then FOMO'd into some other ish, got stopped, and I pissed at myself. Yeah, so true. Yeah, exactly. So it goes into this downward spiral because, like you said, we were patient, waiting for the lows, didn't happen, then you FOMO'd into something. Like that feeling, that gap between that FOMO feeling and that gap, the gap between what you wanted to happen not happening and the feeling of FOMO. You need to figure out how to be aware of that gap, one, and how to stop that gap from actually becoming an execution in your end, right? And going back to that notepad, like I think a lot of you guys would benefit from that. It's like your game plan was this, it's not happening, but you do this. Like, why are you doing that? So having that notepad in front of you might help a lot of you guys, or not might, I think it would. But it's doing the little hard shit that I feel like a lot of people won't do. The tedious shit, but that little tedious shit is what actually makes a difference. Do you stand while trading, bro? Yeah, I stand. Shit, you guys might see this once in I think the first time on stream. I might sit down today. Got a fucking chair right here. Yeah, I'll sit down during just because I hit legs twice this week and fuck. Where could we download your PDF? I got you guys. So, you know what I'll do? Let's see. If you guys, fuck. I'm trying to think of the easiest way to get it out to all you guys. What I can do, I'm gonna figure. Let me think about that. Hold on, but let me see what the easiest way to share with you guys. But regardless, you guys can simply just screenshot. I'll be going through it. It's not that long. It's like 2-3 pages. Nah, he's floating. Fucking visionary. Okay. Bro, I'd have a buddy that was making 15K, taking heavy NQs, but I was jealous and wanted to do the same, but then he blew fucking 70 in a day. Yeah, fuck yeah. Like the day there, again, like I've brought this up a couple times on stream. The most I've ever lost was total net was 13,000 on Shopify option calls. And that money, I had grown an account from 3K up to 15, 16K. It was something around those numbers in the span of like a month. One day, literally, mistake number one was not withdrawing shit, right? And for those who do trade option, you guys know that that isn't crazy. Like option returns are like shit. You could turn 1,000 into 10 in a fucking day. Like option returns like that for 0DT are not crazy. So yeah, I had a good run. It was the beginning of the year. I still remember this. And I lost it all in one day, just given that it was a Thursday and I kept averaging down. I lost my mind and I lost it all. So fucking, again, but going through that, I never did that shit again. I'll tell you that much. I never did that shit again. I went on tilt in different levels, right? But those tilt days were never that big anymore. It's crazy. Like at the time I was working just jobs. I was doing DoorDash. I was working at a stadium. I was working at a phone shop, a phone store. I was doing construction. I was doing it all. I literally was doing it all. Literally, if I wasn't trading, I was working. And you know how stupid I felt losing that much money after literally having to go to work right after? It was the most depressing week of my life. But going through that kind of, it made me, it made me make some rules. It made me kind of literally, honestly, shift away from options. I was trading options, but I made sure that the money I had in my account was never at risk of losing. So if I made a certain amount for a week, I would withdraw. I stopped having that mindset of going for those big wins, because during that time I was going for the big returns. I wanted to turn 3K. I had turned 3K to say whatever 15. I wanted to turn that 15 into 50 and then 50 to 100. I had that mentality where it wasn't the right mentality. And to be truthful, like the trading I was doing, I was literally buying breakouts of like pre-market high and trying to catch or breakouts of certain levels and try to catch a premium flip, which there's good and bad ways. I mean, you can make money in any sort of way with trading, but it was fucking, yeah. Not really my best times. Bro, I have what's charts doing here? What car? I've been looking at a couple of cars, but even trucks, but one, I don't need it. Two, it'd be like this middle ground car between what I actually want. So what I genuinely want is and it sounds fucking, here, I'll show you guys. So what I do want is of course, like a 570S. That'd be like my first entry model car. But before that, I was looking at something like this, or and the reason I say blacked out, because that's literally what I would get it. If it's not in black, I would wrap it. Or this. I've driven these before, and man, do they drive amazing. They drive so fucking, probably the best driving cars I've ever driven. And I've driven a handful of cars. I've driven Camaros, I've driven Corvettes, I've driven a lot of these, like, I guess you could say muscle cars, and nothing drives, in my opinion, like this does. It drives fucking smoothly. It's not the fastest, right? It's still not the fastest out of everything, but it drives amazingly. So yeah, that's kind of what I've been delaying it on for the last year, honestly. I go look at some and I'm like, all right, just build. But I do think that it's coming in the near future. Real bro, delayed gratification. And another thing, the reason I kind of delayed it was because I have a friend who he has a Urus and he's doing pretty well. And I always take advice from people doing better than me, right? I always like to, rewind that. I always try to ask people that are doing better than me for advice, right? I take everyone's advice, but one thing he told me, and it's been sticking with me, was stay down till you come up, which every time I have these thoughts, I'm like, stay down, and until you can buy fucking 4 or 5 of them cash, right? I don't know. It's discipline, honestly. Delayed gratification is crucial. Also, I regret buying a car I wanted, not because I like it, but because I probably shouldn't have gotten. Yeah, and another thing, some cheaper and not spend my. Yeah, so another thing for me is like I love traveling and I want to travel a lot. Like I plan on staying at different parts of the world in the coming month for like months, right? So is that really the smartest thing to do? You know, be dumping $1,200, $1,500 in a car every month just to maybe drive it 7 months out of the year, which I guess it is, but I don't know. It's this weird feeling. Standing while trading is intense. It is, honestly, it is after leg days, not gonna lie. Not gonna fucking lie. What up, chat? We do have a psychology talk here in the coming minutes. Psychology Friday, baby. Bought a Ford Escape, 20 hybrid. After that, invested the other. Yeah. Google Drive link is usually pretty easy. Lost 30 in a day on SPX. It was fucked. Yeah, that's those days. Only traders understand that feeling. You walk out the house feeling like a fucking idiot. Like, there's no other way of explaining, but you feel like a fucking moron. You're like, did I just fucking do that? Especially for me, at least at that time. That was like almost half of what I was making a year. I withdraw daily. Fuck yeah. Yeah, honestly, withdrawing is the best thing you can do. Lomeli, my guy, was good, baby. AXP, my guy. Nothing much, brother. Waiting on just slow price action, honestly. Not really looking for much here. Again, I am looking at the 11 a.m. Okay, so the 11 a.m. candle opened 15 minutes ago. Yeah, the targets for me on NQ are high of day, all-time highs at 782. 4-hour candle just opened. But let's see, areas of interest are maybe that swing low, see how that low reacts. 15 minute low. We do have a small little gap here on the 15 minute. 30 minute. We got a swing low. We have the 30-minute order block here. So this is a good area of interest to then trade, have us trade higher. How's ES looking here, chat? ES is inside a 30-minute gap. 4-hour just opened, of course. 1 hour, 15-minute. The same thing for ES, essentially. Same thing. Something like this. What are we doing, chat? Let's see. Back to chat. How we feeling? I'm done for today. Came here to watch your stream though. Fuck yeah, we do. I'm running a quick morning routine / psychology. I guess you could say talk Probably like around 15 to 20 minutes. How we feel? Congrats on taking kill. Fuck yeah! For those who just tuned in, because there's like half the amount of viewers than there was when I explained it. My girlfriend did that for me yesterday, and as a thank you to her, I left it on for stream. Yeah, I was at a coffee shop doing work. I got home and chat. Guess what song was playing, chat? Guess what song was playing when I walked in? Rented a 6.7 LT one time and it was fucking insane. Takes real perseverance to keep going after that. Yeah, honestly. Takes fucking balls of steel to keep going after a loss. BMW M5 is my goat. Is my goal. I'll be back home in about 15 to 20 minutes. Perfect timing, real. Fuck yeah, Adrian. Adrian, I saw you in Jake's chat this morning. You said something about you're waiting for a retracement into the hourly fair value gap. Hourly fair value gap to then trade higher. You mentioned something like that, which I saw because I noticed it because it's literally what I was looking for. The fire call out, Adrian. Fire fucking call out. Nah. Dreams and nightmares, chat. That's what was playing. She was like, I heard your stream and you were talking about dreams and nightmares. I walked in the house. I was like, oh, all right, something's going on. You asked me to walk in the office and you're playing dreams and nightmares. I recorded it too, but I was like, nah, I won't post it. Get a whip single cap. I'm not a big fan of trucks. I was looking at Raptors for a moment, but yeah, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of. I prefer cars. Although I'm 6'2" and fucking trucks are amazing. They're comfy, but I love speed. Need to take it as a sign that I'm willing to hold an ES loser this long, yet can't hold my winners. There's a psychological lesson there. Yeah, I mean, if your plan was already to hold it, I mean, by all means do it. But yeah, it's like it's the same thing the best loser win talks about, right? Whenever when a winning trade, your mind wants to protect you. Protect you from what? A paper tiger, a fake tiger that isn't real. Our primal mind are not wired to trade. So whenever you are in a winning trade, your mind says, get to safety, get away from danger, and the way you do so is by closing it. And the way you get away from danger when you're in a losing trade, right, is by adding to a trade, holding it because there's hope. Hope overrides that fear, that frustration, that danger, and you hold. And you have to understand that game and do the complete opposite. Basically, face the resistance. What about Ford Mustang? Yeah, it's a GT350 that I was looking at. GT350 or a C7. Fuck the car, invest in real estate. Yeah, honestly. Yeah, I agree. As sad as it is, I agree. Bro, fucking, yeah, exactly, bro. You feel like a fucking, or at least for me, I felt like a fucking bum. And then those voices of people like telling me to do something different with my life just start creeping in. And that whole week was probably the most depressing week of my life. Thank you, Locked In, for the psychology talk after blowing evals today. Fuck yeah. I think you guys will find value in it, chat. I genuinely do. So yeah, let's see. Locked In for a sec. Thank you, bro. I've learned calmness from you, bro. I appreciate it. My guy, Adrian, bro. I've been seeing you in here a lot. You've been crushing it, my guy. You've been fucking crushing it. You called that shit out. It played out. It just hopefully that yields to your conviction and yields to more success to you, bro. Google that Whippled. I got you. I got you. Whippled Superchar F-150. This what we talking about? I just like to, I just like. Chat, I like cars, but I'm not into cars like that. What the fuck does whippled mean? I'm probably gonna get roasted, but what the fuck does whippled mean? Oh, fuck. Yo, Cup of Joe, my guy. Have you seen an SVT Blackwing? Oh, yeah, fuck yeah. These are one of my boys. He was looking at one of these or he recently just got a truck. But he was looking at either these or a truck, but these are fucking, yeah, these go. These fucking go. They're fucking pricey though, huh? I think for the price, you could get something way better. That's just my take. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Can relate. These streams are dope because we all get it. Yeah, exactly. We're all. No other fucking person understands you like another trader. No girl, no brother, no fucking friend, no coworker. Nobody gets it other than another trader. So long you've lost fucking your mind trading, at least one day. you then I can take your opinion. Otherwise, shut the fuck up. Talking about. I remember fucking. I went into work one day and someone was like, bro, just fucking take your profit. Like, I was like, what? Like, shut the. That day was like the day where I fucking like. He was like, stop being greedy, bro. Like, just take your profit and call it. I was like, shut the fuck up, man. You have no clue what I'm going through mentally. I didn't tell him that, of course, but just looked at taking GTS Super Sport Tourism a few weeks ago. Thinking about it, man. I really like it. Taking GTS. Sports Turismo. Sheesh. Shit, I've never seen these before. I'm assuming you have like a family, right? Oh, right. I think you do have a family. I think you told me. Your wife was forgot. I remember though. Your wife was a doctor. You're an engineer, something like that, Joe, right? Supercharged. Okay, Whippled is a supercharger. Okay, fire. Bro, just get an E63S. Chat, we'll do the psychology talk here in a minute. Just looking at cars while seeing if we get some sort of trigger on charts. But other than that, just looking at cars for now, chat. So I hope that's fine. E63. But stay tuned for game. I got fucking sauce dropping here. Morning routine, psychology talk, and then giveaway after. All right. E63S AMG. I know exactly what this is. Yeah. Personally, my girlfriend's a big fan of AMG and Mercedes. This is one she was looking at, or she wants. Which, yeah, these are, in my opinion, these are nice. These are nice. And the AMG sound, fuck, nothing beats it. Bro, they're fast as hell. Agree. Use GT3. Price. Yeah, that falls under the same like price that I was looking at for like a 570S. But man, these fucking GT3 RSs, I've grown to really, really like them. The CT5 Blackwing is dope. CT5 Blackwing. Yeah, these cars are fucking, yeah. These cars sound fucking crazy. They have the same engine as the, am I wrong? 1LE, right? Camaro? You should get a... Lost my mind in the process. When you said that, RJV, it reminded me of the Connor. Lost my mind in the process. It reminded me of this.
I've lost my mind on this game, yeah. Like Vincent Van Gogh.
The Memorial Day sale at
I
Arsenal.
lost my mind in this game, like Vincent Van Gogh.
First in line and get a $50 gift card. Come early for a
People that don't trade are like, why the fuck did you do that? Bro, tell me about it, bro. I've been there. Scared money don't make money. Facts, facts, facts. Man, this action has been really slow, huh? For PM. It's been an hour and 15. Yeah, what the fuck is this action? I think it's not worth putting risk on a Friday like this. Literally the last fucking, what is it? 30 minutes has been inside a 5-minute candle bar. So, yeah. And it's not high quality because even if we take out this lows, we're not delivering from a high like an order block or a fair value gap. I guess the 30-minute, but even then, 30-minute, 4-hour, 15-minute. Yeah, let's see. I remember you said you had an issue where you would follow your plans and run up a bag and then blow it all in a day because maybe you took a loss or whatever and revenge traded or overseas, whatever. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I went through a period where I found my momentum. I was able to make money for months, and then I would blow it on a day, a week, a period of 2-3 days. And I went through that cycle time and time again. And that's around the time where I found Jake. And when I found Jake, I went to the that LA meetup back, what was it, 2022, 2023? For me, it changed a lot for me because it was the first big trader that I met. And that actually gave me advice in person. I was like, okay, everything this guy is telling me, I need to fucking do, right? So I asked him a handful of questions. I laid it out to him. This is what I'm going through. And just give me one advice. And that advice, every single thing Jake has told me, I tell him this personally. I'm like, bro, I take everything you tell me to heart. Everything you tell me to heart because you have done what I want to do. So who am I to say, I'm gonna do it differently because of my own ego? No, fuck that, right? Whatever Jake tells me, I respect, and I am gonna fucking do, right? No, I'm not even gonna second guess it. That thing is sick. You guys see that new Brabus coupe? No, a Brabus coupe came out. Chad, do you guys justify paying fucking 300K for a fucking B or no? You said new Brabus kit? Let's see. I know it's a whole upgrade, but shit, man. Brabus coupe. Holy shit. Is this it? This looks crazy. It looks like the, of course, it looks like the Mercedes GT. Get a Connor Master Manifester. Bro, you find it crazy? It's crazy that a lot of these athletes are fucking very, very sharp mentally, which is fucking, it's crazy. Like there's no doubt about why they're where they are, right? Which is they're fucking sharp mentally. I literally just saw a reel with John Jones talking about his life changed when he started tapping into meditation, manifestation, and everything. McGregor, I mean, you guys know McGregor, fucking bro's he knows how to talk, and he knows how to paint a picture. And but more than anything, like it's crazy how everything's been documented for him, and it's nice to see. You doing psych stream? Yes, I am. I'm running that here soon, shortly, probably honestly after I'm done here reading chat. Let's see. I think CO6 for sure. Drove one working ballet and it tripped me out. Was loud, especially if they're cammed. Those fucking Cam Z06s are nice. Sleeping on that Civic Si. Inspiring faith in Jake. Fuck yeah. Looks like a Batmobile. Elder. Which one? Which one? Oh, this one? Yeah. Bro, so I'm a massive law firm and he has 4 Bravises, fucking garage, man. Porsche. Fuck. That's fucking. That's sick. That G-Wagon he spent, bro, it's crazy. It's crazy the amount of money that's out there in the world, right? We think as trading like as a, oh, we're gonna get rich. It's only a small portion of wealth, in my opinion. It's a stepping stone, in my opinion, and there's crazy amount of money out there, which is why whenever I think about how scarce some people's minds are, it shocks me. Like there's literally enough for everybody to eat, and it's crazy. Try Porsche Panamera GTS. Porsche Panam. It reminds me of Kevin Hart. My bad. Last one, and then we'll start the psych talk. Was it this one?
Get ready for summer with exciting styles and savings during the Living Spaces Memorial Day event. Upgrade your...
So, your business manager called me. And
Reggie? What Reggie
he told me that he needs you to stop with all the frivolous spending.
Okay, first of all, ain't nobody out here frivolousing it up.
I promise we'll start right now, chat.
Okay. Second of all,
You don't know what the word frivolous means, do you?
Yes, I do. And I'm not doing it. Okay? Now, here's what you need to understand, Trina. That's my money. If I want to spend it, I'll spend it.
You're right. You can. We're not talking about spending money.
Thank you.
We're talking about stupidity.
We're talking about what? Wait, hold on. What? You calling me stupid? Are you calling me stupid?
Stupid. That's not what I'm saying. Just bring it back. All right, stop with the $150,000 Porsche.
Whoa, stop right there. Okay? Because if you're going to talk about what I'm doing, at least talk about it correctly. I didn't spend $150,000 on a Porsche. I spent $200,000 on a Panamera. Panamera.
Bro, this show's goated, chat.
What about the
Real Husbands of Hollywood. That shit was my favorite show growing up. But that's what it reminded me of when you were talking about it. Fucking Thanos. Kevin Hart roast. I have yet to watch it. I'm gonna watch it. I think is it on Netflix? He's such an awesome guy too, man. Being rich is all in our heads. Those are levels to it, but comparing ourselves to others is a thief of joy. Yeah, exactly, bro. Especially when it comes to money. Yeah, 1,000%. There's so much money that once you get to a certain level, you want more and more and more. It falls under the premise of like everything, right? Like in faith and in everything. It's like be grateful for what you have, and while always seeking for more. But it's that fine balance. You can't be too tipped to one side or the other, because if you're not grateful, you're going to be unhappy and miserable your whole life. But if you're too grateful when you're not seeking for more, then there's this imbalance, I think, in my opinion. So you need a mixture of both. No pun intended. Ye on Netflix, not for the faint of heart. Okay. Fuck yeah, I got you. I'll probably watch it today. You own one here in Africa? Porsche Panamera GTS. Let's see. Horse Panamera. Fire, fire. What part of Africa you in? Been thinking about visiting Cape Town. Okay, chat. We'll do the quick psychology talk here. Are we ready? Are we ready for this game? This is basically my morning routine, and then I'll dig deep as to why I added each and every single thing. So type W's and we'll get it started. W's, W's, W's. Yeah, I need it right now. Fuck yeah, chat. Hell yeah. Yeah, okay, perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Hell yeah, chat. You guys, yeah. And then after the talk, it'll be probably, I'm going to keep it no longer than 30 minutes. And then we'll hop into the giveaway, the last 15, 20 minutes, and then end it off with looking at cards or some shit. Sounds good, chat? For that, I'm going to pop up I'm going to sit down for this shit. Let's sit down. All right. Desk is going down, chat. Desk is going down. Hold on, chat. All right. Oh, sheesh. Okay. Feels weird standing or sitting down now. Okay. Let's play the music again. Or you know what? Serious talk. Let's pause the music. Okay, chat. So I mentioned this briefly. I mentioned this briefly on stream yesterday, and it seemed like it was like 85-90% of you guys wanted this talk today, which is what kind of gave me the idea to do it. And I still wanted to look at charts, which we kind of have been. Apart from not really being interested in anything, and it's Friday, I think this is a good time to go over this. So, without further ado, let me pop up chat here, and then we'll get started. You've never seen him sit before? So let's see. I think that whenever we get talking about here, let me remove this. Let me make myself bigger. Okay. So whenever I get to talking, or traders get to talking about how can I move in the right direction to fix my trading psychology. For me, truthfully, this document here, which I now literally memorized, and I spoke about the first stream with Jake, which was I recite the 5 fundamental truths out loud for myself, and then the 7 principles of consistency. Now, what is that, right? It might just be like it's one thing to write it down, but it's another thing to actually implement it on a given on every single day. So for me, I wake up about an hour before market opens, right? So to keep it simple, let's talk about Eastern time. So 8:30 Eastern. I'll wake up and I'll sit outside, go on a walk, right? The mind, if you're hopping, before I even go on further, if you're hopping out of bed, right, whatever time it is, and you're going straight to the charts, no, that you're doing it completely wrong. The mind needs to wake up. The mind isn't fully woken up, right? I'm sure there's been times where you guys wake up and you're like half asleep, a setup you think is presenting itself. You get in, you're like, what the fuck did I do? And then an hour later it goes by and you're like, ah, shit, like this next setup was a perfect setup. I rushed that. I half-assed my pre-market game plan. So I think the morning of a trader starts the night before. Make sure you get good sleep, which I haven't been getting this week, but making sure you get good sleep, making sure you wake up early in the morning. Make sure what I do is I drink some water. I go on a walk, a 10-minute walk, 10 to 15-minute walk. And that whole walk, I literally recite this whole thing. Anything can happen, right? As a trader, what I kind of go back to is like, I'm applying the mental side of being a human and the mental side of trading, right? So as a trader, these things I'm kind of affirming to myself every single day. And to this day, there's a period where I read this out, right? And I would play it in my car. Literally, when I was going to the gym, I would play it at the gym on replay. I would play these things, just me saying anything can happen. You don't need to know what's going to happen next to make money. There's a random distribution between wins and losses that define an edge. All an edge is a higher likelihood of one thing happening over another. Every moment of the market is unique. And again, onto these. So I would recite them over and over and over and over again. So if you haven't yet read The Power of the Subconscious Mind, this is kind of where I got that idea. I'm like, how can I train my mind to actually start believing and thinking things so it can benefit my trading? So it was this book. This book specifically was this cover that I have, The Power of the Subconscious Mind. It's on Amazon. I think everyone should read that if you're into trading. So yeah, I got that idea from that book, and these affirmations I got from Trading in the Zone. So everyone knows Trading in the Zone, of course. This book, if you haven't yet picked it up, I think it's a very, very easy read, and I think it gets you the fundamentals of trading psychology down. So where'd it go? Okay. So yeah, anything can happen, right? The market, this is literally just me training my mind to think about the right sort of thinking in the markets, because anything can happen. I'm training my mind to go into the day with the belief that I can win, I can lose, I can get ticked out by I can get stopped out by a tick, I can get stopped out break even just to see it play out. I can do, I can hit full TP, I can catch a 10-hour trade, I can be down, I can lose my account, I can do, anything can happen. Literally anything can happen. And I started to think, okay, what are scenarios that could happen? What are things that have happened to me before that could potentially happen? So you're anticipating that. It's all about managing expectations. This whole thing, this whole talk today would be, if I can put one word to it, it'd be manage expectations. Right? I'll flip back through this sheet and this, right? So anything can happen. You don't need to know what's going to happen next to make money, right? Mark Douglas talks about this specifically, which is, bro, sitting locked in. I just saw that. My bad. You don't need to know. You don't need to know what's going to happen next to make money, right? And this is huge. You don't need to know. You don't have to have a read on market price every single day, every single moment, right? And that's okay, because you can still make money. Those times where you don't know what's going to happen, you just sit out, right? So this goes to my other point, which is manage. Where is it at? Collect cash days. And I'll touch back on it later. Collect cash days. And 10 out of 20 trading days. Trading days, aim for sidelines, right? And I'll get back to it because this isn't really, yeah, I'll get back to it. So manage expectations, right? Collect cash days. So going into number 3, there's a random distribution between wins and losses, right? So in trading, this is understanding probabilities, right? You need to train your mind to understand probabilities, and that you can go through a period of winners. Like, for example, me, since I came back from vacation, I think it was Wednesday, I've taken about, let's call it 10 trades. I think I've had one loser in those 10 trades. I'm in this winning streak in my AM session, right? So I understand that just as I'm having winning streaks, I'm going to have losing streaks. But I know if I zoom out and grade the next 100 trades, the next 1,000 trades, I will have positive edge and I will come out on top, so long I stay level-headed and follow and understand these principles. These are simply principles and foundations that if you have the right foundation, right, that's where you can actually go off of. But if you don't understand this, you're going to be lost your whole trading journey, in my opinion, right? Okay, 4, an edge is a higher probability of one thing happening over another. And I think this right here is fucking huge. I think this, out of this whole psychology talk, take this. Because for me, that one hit home, because when I read Trading in the Zone a handful of times, right? And one thing that he kept mentioning, and that kind of stuck with me like the second or third time that I read that book, was all an edge is a higher likelihood of one thing happening over another. And the reason that hit home for me is because I was always trying to find a new strategy, a new system. That was my main issue. New strategy, a new system, and I was always changing variables. And when you change variables, you change the data you collect. When you change the data you collect, you're not really moving forward. It feels like you're moving forward because you're finding something new. You're finding this strategy. This guy made fucking 100 bands this week and I lost money. Or this guy made $1 million this week, and the guy I'm learning from lost money this week, so I should switch, right? No, I think everything is done through finding a proven edge, back testing it, forward testing it, right? And you yourself testing the variables, right? That's where the work comes in. But it's for me, I never really understood that principle, right? It's a fundamental truth for a reason. I never understood that principle until later in my journey, which was that all edge is you just have to be slightly certain on one outcome over another. So again, it's like Jake says, it's a flip coin. I could flip a coin and market's either going to go up or down. But if you have a slight read as to why price would go higher, that's edge. That's all edge is. I don't care what the fuck you look at. I don't care if you look at trend lines. I don't care if you look at order flow, bar by bar analysis. If you look at stocks, equities, futures, if you trade fucking corn futures, if you trade coffee futures, if you trade whatever you fucking trade, all an edge is you're putting on a position that you think is going to move to one side in a 50-50 environment, right? All you need is that small edge. Now incorporate risk to reward, right? And then you have even slighter of an edge. So this for me, I think a lot of you guys would also benefit from, right? The edge part. The edge part is just a higher likelihood of one thing happening over another. And every moment in the market is unique, meaning that the setup that you're taking every single day is not going to be the same setup that you take. The same setup you take today is not the same setup that's going to present itself tomorrow. Why? Because different market participants are present, right? And although it might have similar features and similar characteristics, it's not going to be the same setup. Just like Mark Douglas talks about. I'm going to keep referencing Mark Douglas because this is where I got it from. He says, you have two dogs. One bites your hand as a kid, and now you're traumatized. You're going to go your whole life thinking that all dogs are going to do the same thing, right? Although each dog, you know now as an adult that each dog is unique in its own way. Although they look identical, they're going to behave in different ways. Now, to that same dog analogy, it's like your job as a trader is like, okay, let's see what characteristics each dog shows to see which one will not bite me or whatever, right? Stupid example, but you guys get the point. Every moment in the market is unique. So reciting these 5 fundamental truths kind of keep me aligned every single morning to now go into the market aligned. I'm just literally aligning myself that I'm managing expectations. And by that, I mean that I'm expecting anything. Fucking mic is covering my keyboard. Anything and everything. Everything. Expecting every trade to be a loser soon as I put on risk. This is huge here. Expecting every trade to be a loser, because a lot of people subconsciously put on trades expecting them to be winners. You're subconsciously, I would argue that half of people watching currently are putting on trades anticipating a winner. Am I wrong, chat? Am I wrong? So we'll get back to that. So yeah, those are the 5 fundamental truths out loud. I recite that just one or two times. Then I affirm the 7 principles of consistency, which are: I objectively identify my edge. Facts. Yeah, there you go. I objectively identify my edge. So if you guys haven't already, you guys need to write down, what is your edge? So what is your edge? Some of you guys haven't written this down. If you don't have it written down, if you don't really understand like what it is that you look for, you don't know what you're looking for, because one small variable is going to change results. Maybe it's how you trail your position. Maybe it's the way you go break even. Maybe it's your targets. Maybe you just set and forget. Maybe you use EMAs one day. Maybe you use the 1 minute one day, and then the other day you use the 5 minute for your entries. Those are different variables. Everything has to be the same, and you need to track variables. You need to track performance on same variables. So say you have 5 variables one day, then 6 the other, then 4 the other. Those are completely different strategies, in my opinion. I think the same variables need to be presented every single morning, every single day. Test that for a prolonged period of time after back testing it. And that gives you true actual data on your edge. So yeah, in the morning, I objectively identify my edge, and then I think about what my edge is. It's like, okay, this, and that, and I predefine my risk on every trade. So I go into the day. It's like, okay, today's month for whatever reason. Say today's Monday. Okay, half R today. Minus I'm willing to take 2 losses. So all in all, worst comes to worst, I'm down 1 R for the session. Okay, cool. I fully accept the risk or let the trade go. So this, again, it goes into the idea of like, okay, if I get in the trade, I'm already kind of anticipating the loss. So before I even click buy or sell, I'm thinking, okay, this is done. Like I'm going in to lose money. Not necessarily, right? But my mind, I'm trying to train my mind to every time I push buy or sell, I let go of the mouse and I literally tell myself, okay, this trade, I'm willing to lose this much to see if I can make this much. So I remind myself that morning. I act without hesitation, right? So this right here is another thing, right? Because some days you're after everything checks off, you still like your fingers on the trigger. You're like, I don't know. Maybe this is good, but what if this, right? So after everything is literally when it comes down to me hitting, figuring out how many contracts I'm gonna buy or sell, everything else checks off. It's like, okay, am I hesitating or am I missing something? And it's like, okay, that feeling is hesitation because I maybe don't want to lose money that day, or maybe I had a red day yesterday. I try to check that before the click of the button. So I remind myself in the morning, I act without hesitation, right? I pay myself as the market provides. This is huge, right? So it's like, this goes back to like dynamic R. What is dynamic R? Meaning that the trade will change, the trade setup evolves as you get new data, right? And for those who know dynamic R, know what I'm talking about. But a trade like let's see, a trade like, what the fuck happened here? We took out that low and we're reacting now. But yeah, a trade like this, say you got in here. Say you got in here, right? And your target is up there. And for whatever reason, price starts moving. The trade is completely different when price is here. Because at this point, the trade that was once a 2.7 R has now turned into a negative R to R multiple. So now that same thing, right? This is huge. This is dynamic R. This is managing your trade, managing your position. And this goes back to that principle. I pay myself as the market provides. So as the market is developing itself, I'm making sure I am watching price. And I mean, I'm not fucking sitting here hawking it, but maybe I step away and I take a quick breather and I come back and I look to see. I always gauge dynamic R. Dynamic R is huge because new data means you should trade, or not trade differently, but you should manage your position differently, right? So back to the paper or the PDF. Pay myself as the market provides. We spoke about that. Dynamic R. Monitor my susceptibility to error. Okay. So to this point, everything maybe you're thinking, oh, this is basic info, right? Or some of you guys are, man, this is game. Neither here or there. Yeah, monitor my susceptibility to error. This for me was game changer. So for me, everyone here, I think, should trade one session. I think your goal should be to track data on one session, right? Whether that's 6:30 to 8:30, and say for whatever, what's your edge? Once you define that, it's like track one session. Let's say it's AM for this example. For me, after every trade, what I would do is step away. So as soon as I would create a plan, I went through everything. I'm like, okay, this is good. My target's here. My stop is here. I would literally go to the living room. My living room was next door. I would sit there. I would take 10. I would literally breathe for 10. I would literally sit there, go. Literally calm my mind. I would, because at that point, your fucking cortisol is spiking. Your amygdala is ringing. You're like, there's some sort of danger. Literally remove myself from screen. And I would literally fucking recite this whole thing after those breaths. Literally this whole fucking thing. Anything can happen. You don't even know what's going to happen next to make money. There's a random distribution between wins and losses that define an edge. All an edge is a higher likelihood of one thing happening over another. Every moment in the market is unique. That took fucking 10 seconds, right? And then objectively identify my edge. I predefine my risk, fully accept the risk and let the trade go. I act without hesitation, reservation. I pay myself as the market provides. I monitor my susceptibility to error. Me doing that, I am making sure I am aligned once again. So not only am I doing it in the fucking morning, I'm doing it mid fucking trade. So for me, I got to the point where I was like, all right, me being in front of a screen is making me feel a certain type of way. Let me remove myself, make it a rule to I remove myself, I ground myself, I collect myself, and then I can come back. After I collect myself, I ground myself, I come back with the idea, okay, this is everything literally that we outlined. I'm put the risk out. My mind is a little calmer, right? And yeah, and for me, that alone was fucking game changer. That alone was fucking, it was night and day in my performance because I removed myself. I literally stepped away for a minute. Unless you're micro scalping, you can step away from the charts for a minute, right? So for me, that act alone, I feel like a lot of you guys would benefit from. So it's like, so far what we've covered is I would have a notepad. We covered earlier in the stream, not in this talk specifically, but early in the stream, I would have a notepad and that I would write down my thoughts, my emotions as the trade was playing out. But that was after I sat out in my living room for literally a minute. Maybe you take a little longer because you're getting used to the whole routine. Maybe you take 2 minutes, 3 minutes, maybe 5 minutes. You have your stop in place. You shouldn't really change that. Unless you're micro fucking scalping, which I doubt 99 of you guys are fucking doing, right? You have 5 minutes as soon as you enter, right? And as soon as you enter, if everything aligns, go. Because the moment you enter, thoughts of getting out, again, I keep going back to the paper tiger. Our primal minds aren't wired to trade. Our primal minds are telling us, get out of danger. I don't like this feeling. Let me remove myself from this trade. And to do so, you literally save yourself. You save yourself that feeling by literally getting out. So for me, again, doing that, removing myself and reminding my mind that everything is okay. Like it's just a fucking trade. At the end of the day, I'm going to go out and live my life and, fuck it, we ball, man. Life continues, win or lose, fuck it, we ball. I have that mentality. So, and I never violate these principles. This is huge. After reading that, at the end, I'm like, okay, everything I've just mentioned, I have to follow. And the most important thing is I have to follow them, right? So it's just a quick reminder as to why I'm doing this. So after that, this literally, if I recite them quickly, it takes me no more than a minute, 2 minutes. And again, I do that on my morning walk. The purpose of that, everything's purposeful. I drink my water, go on a walk, 10 minutes. Those 10 minutes, I'm reciting these. I'm making sure I'm grounded. I come back, I sit down outside, I'm making sure I'm fully awake. Then I hop in my screens like 30 minutes before market opens. So say Eastern time, 9 a.m. I live in the West Coast, so for me, that's 6 a.m. And I sit outside, right? This is like maybe 5:50-ish. And I visually, I haven't done this often lately, if I'm being blunt, but I would do this. Mentally rehearse, executing flawlessly, staying calm regardless of outcome, right? I would literally sit there and train again, going back to the same book, the book of I got everything from this book, The Power of the Subconscious Mind. Oh, where'd it go? The Power of the Subconscious. Misspelled that shit. But yeah, I got that from this book. This book has been very impactful in my life. So yeah, I sit there, this is what I visualize. I literally visualize myself going, I hear the sound my chair makes when I sit down, right? I visualize myself like clicking the power on button of my PC. I visualize myself fucking putting in my password. I visualize opening up my charts, going through everything up to the point of execution. Picture the perfect picture setup, right? Literally visualize everything. How does your office feel? How do your feet feel in the morning? Are you in underwear? Are you fully dressed? Whatever it is that you kind of go through, actually put yourself in that position because your mind doesn't know whether it's real or fake, right? It doesn't know the difference. All it knows is that you're currently experiencing that at a subconscious level. And what it's telling you, it's giving you signals to actually, it's like you're warming up. Like athletes warm up before a game. How do they warm up physically? They stretch, they do dynamic stretches, they kick a ball, they throw a ball, whatever sport it is, right? Us as traders, we need to warm up our mind. And I genuinely think that taking 5 minutes to do so goes a long way. This right here is out of everything, it's one of the small little things that are going to make a pivotal, that are going to be moving the needle essentially. So yeah, that alone, after that visualization, I hop on my screen. So all this right here from start to finish doesn't take me more than fucking 20 minutes, chat. If you're not willing to put in 20 minutes before your trading day and you still are asking yourself, why am I doing this? Why am I fucking doing this horrible trading shit? Why am I back holding? Why am I taking 20 trades when I told myself I'm going to stay cash today? If you're not willing to do the work, then nothing's changing. Nothing changes if nothing changes. That's the definition of insanity, right? Nothing changes if nothing changes. So yeah, so going back into so far we've covered, you manage your expectations, expect anything and everything, right? Expect every trade to be a loser as soon as I put on risk, right? That's the main biggest thing I feel like traders do is as soon as they put on a trade, they want it to be a winner because all the work they put in, they woke up early, they did this morning routine, they visualized, they they did everything just to come and put on a trade that was a loser. Your mind thinks, oh, I'm fucking working backwards. So you have to do everything, also expecting that every trade that you do put on will be a loser. Now, of course, not every trade is going to be a loser, but that's the mentality you need to go into. On top of that, you have to, again, if you haven't already, define the edge. What same variables? Let me write that down. What same variables did I test? And am I forward testing? Right? That's for you to ask for. Whatever. So yeah, and then track 1 a.m. session, right? Sorry, I missed this. Collect cash days. I think everyone would benefit from going into the trading day, anticipating that you're gonna be an observer mindset. And observer mindset. And again, you're collecting cash days. So out of 20 trading days for the month, 10 of those days are going to should be cash days. So every cash day that you have, like yesterday for me was a cash day. I'm like, fuck yeah. I collected 1 cash day. And of course, I don't have 10 cash days for the month. Maybe I have 5 cash days for the month. Maybe 1 day out of the week is cash. Or maybe we have a hot market, which we have been getting, right? And maybe every single day is a trading day, right? But going in with the observer mindset, you're a cash collector, mitigating risk, managing expectations, who knows his edge, who is only trading 1 session, right? Maybe just 1 instrument. For me, I trading 1 session AM. I traded only NQ, right? I knew my edge. I knew my time. I knew my trading window, right? I'll stop typing new. I knew my trade count, no more than 2 losses. And I knew my risk, right? Per trade. I knew everything before going to the session. That way nothing was shock to me, right? So that literally takes, 20 minutes. Currently watching, 104 of you guys currently watching. It takes 20 minutes to change your trading. If you're willing to do that every single morning, I promise you, it's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen next week. But I promise you, if you do this for the next 2-3 months, you're going to be at a much, much better spot than not doing that for the next year and still being in the same spot. Because that's mentally what goes through people's head. And I know that because I've been there. You're like, fuck, how long is this shit going to take, right? You have to be willing to put in the work mentally. And again, this I got from, again, Mike Billafiore from SMB Capital. I got from, he preaches on having a mental warm-up. I got this from Mark Douglas, right? Trading in the Zone. I got this from The Power of the Subconscious Mind, from actual books, which I myself tested. And I'm like, okay, here, something's changing. And if I remember correctly, Jake had a similar sheet that he did when I first got his mastermind. I don't know if he still talks about it or not, but he did something similar. So yeah, going into This I don't do now, but this was the sheet I had 2 years ago, so I just left it there. Journal prompts, which is this is kind of like going into creating a game plan. What do I believe about today's outcome? Where am I expecting certainty? Like today, what I do is like I draw out an area of interest, like say for me, for whatever reason, or let's hop into the morning. Like for today, going into the morning, my area, it's hot as shit in here. Hold on, let me turn on the AC real quick, chat. 1 second. All right, chat, we back. We back. Turn the AC on because I'm fucking sweating in here. So going into the day, kind of like I was breaking down, was where am I expecting certainty, and what do I believe about today's outcome? That goes into building a game plan. So for me, I have 2 levels, right? Basically, that's all I really need. An area of interest and my target, right? So if I go into this, going into the session, I had my area of interest. We were already in my area of interest. We were in a 15-minute order block. Prior day high. It was an hourly invert, fair value gap. This will be brief, I promise. Not much of a chart breakdown, but just so you guys get a point. Inverse fair value gap on the hourly, and we had just delivered away from a 4-hour order block, I believe. Yeah, we just delivered, and we had divergence down here with ES divergence, and my draw was higher, right? So my easy low-hanging fruit was it was a level I had on ES that we hit somewhere around there. And I'll record. I haven't recorded and posted, or I recorded the video, but I haven't posted it, which I'll do after this stream, so you guys can go check it out on my Instagram. Of the exact executions, but basically this trade, something like that, right? That wasn't my exact entry, but yeah. So I had my area of interest. I said, okay, as soon as we invert the 5-minute, we had a small little 5-minute invert. So I guess my area, this is, I guess, not so good of an example, but typically what I have is levels. Like once we get to this level here, I think it's easier in price if I do it this way. So say price, wake up. It's like, okay, we're here. In the morning, I'll create a big game plan. Once we take out this level, I'd want to see us tap this level. And it's like, okay, I'll go into the day. That's the game plan. I'll wait. And I won't do anything unless we get there. As soon as we get there, I'm eyes on and I'm waiting. It's like, okay, once I get my entry model, I'll do it. I'll take it. And then what am I targeting? The set predefined level already. And this level, the target sometimes changes. But yeah, just for an example purpose, that's kind of how I go about it. So yeah, what do I believe about today's outcome? Where am I expecting certainty? What would a neutral objective trader see today? Right? Without any bias, I also like to think, okay, I'm long biased, but why would I be short? If shorts are in the market today, why would they short? So I'm kind of trying to create this like neutral ground of like, I'm either I'm not leaning towards one side too much. So I'm always trying to be as neutral as possible. And what would a objective trader, would nobody, if I was just a trader coming in, where do I think the market's going to go? Okay, I'm thinking up, but why would I think the market would head down? So I ask myself that, and I make sure it's part of my thinking. Am I mentally accepting risk today as the cost of doing business? Again, I remind myself that this business that we're in is trading. It's a probability game, right? I have to fully accept my risk, right? I know that anything can happen. I know that I don't need to know what's going to happen next to make money. I know that there's a random distribution between wins and losses, right? I know that I need to pay myself as the market provides. I need to monitor my susceptibility to error. So everything kind of comes in line. Everything kind of flows and meshes together. Where am I expecting certainty? What would a neutral objective trader see today? And yeah, so we talked about that. Am I mentally accepting risk today as cost of doing business? Again, what I ask myself, and then I set an intention. So usually that intention is the goal I had after prior day's review. So say yesterday I didn't hold my trade to full TP, right? My intention for the day is to maybe set and forget, right? Maybe set my stop and target and just forget about it. Like literally remove myself from the market, set alerts, and maybe that's my goal, right? This is just an example. My goal is consistency. I accept uncertainty. I act on my edge and let go of the outcome. So, yeah, so that's essentially kind of my morning routine / during trading routine. And again, it starts about, truthfully, I could do this in like 45 minutes before market opens. But I would say if you're new, at least give yourself maybe 50 minutes, 50 minutes to an hour. And I think that if you do so, bro, it's going to completely change your fucking trading. I promise you. Why? Because you're mentally aligning yourself. You're reminding yourself what really matters. You're not thinking that you're going to be green every day. You're not thinking that you're going to have a winner, because you know why? You know anything can happen, right? Maybe you have high conviction on the day, but it grounds you. You're like, okay, anything can happen. Like, no matter how good the setup is, anything can happen, right? And no matter how good the setup, there's a random distribution between wins and losses. That's probabilities, right? And yeah, so post-market routine, this is, if you guys want a screenshot, this is something that I would do before, and it's helped. And I'll quickly go through this, but what I wanted the emphasis to be on this lesson was this: my pre-market routine, coming in to mentally prepare into my trading session. But yeah, so post-market routine, I grade myself on the 7 principles, not P&L. So what are the 7 principles? Are these: did I objectively identify edge, right? Was I missing something? Did I predefine my risk on every trade? Or was I not? Did I fully accept the risk or let the trade go? Maybe during the trade, I'm like, maybe I can move this. Maybe I can add here. Maybe I can remove here. Maybe I could go break even. Did I act without hesitation? Maybe I missed an entry because I was hesitating, right? Pay myself. Did I not take the low-hanging fruit? For me, that was the biggest issue, not taking the low-hanging fruit. Did I monitor my susceptibility to error? Did I not walk away to my living room because I was glued on here because I was uncertain about the trade, that I knew anything could happen, and I knew that I had edge, and that, I try to ask myself these things as I'm journaling. Where do we leave off? Shoot, I lost my spot, chat. Okay, so yeah. So what belief was, as I'm logging the trade, say I took one trade that day, what belief was behind that trade? Did it fall under my edge or my variables? Did I act in alignment with 5 fundamental truths? Did I feel emotional during, after the trade, and why? Like that's where I come back to the journal that I would draw, because like you say you remember how you feel, but it's not in the moment. In the moment, if you log certain things, you're gonna look back and be like, okay, that's exactly how I was feeling in that certain time. So what I would do is, like, say we'll talk about Eastern time, say 10 a.m. Eastern would hit, and I would be feeling a certain type of way. I'd put down 10 a.m., 10:01. I feel FOMO after seeing the trade run without me. And then I'd come back, okay, we never hit my area of interest. So it's like, okay, I'm cool. And then I'd come back, review that, and be like, I did the right thing, rather than thinking, oh, maybe I could have caught a trade here because of this, and that. So tomorrow I go in not waiting for my area of interest to hit. I catch a trade and I lose, and then I go on tilt that day. So it's a downward spiral that if you don't catch, you're going to keep fucking up. Man, I'm super passionate about this because I've been through it all, and I can tell you that aligning yourself will make a difference. What did I learn from this win or loss? Or at all? Maybe you just learned that it was part of your edge, and you keep it pushing. What can I do to act more effortlessly? What can I do to act more effortlessly next time? Right? Maybe there was a lot of mental conflict going on during the trade, and you were thinking, should I close? Should I not? Whereas if you just literally would have taken a step back, popped up a podcast, maybe it would have been the best scenario, and it would have made things effortlessly, right? So ask yourself, like, what could I do differently next time to have a better result, to make it feel like it's less work? And then if you tilted that day, I know a handful of you guys were talking about that, what painful experience occurred? Like, what happened? Like, why did that happen? Work backwards, right? Maybe maybe it's that, we'll stick to that same example. Maybe yesterday you didn't wait for an area of interest that then moved, and the whole journal that you did yesterday was talking about, okay, maybe I could have caught a trade here because it moved, so I have to catch that. Maybe you did that today, right? Because you journaled that, and that must be the right thing. Where today you didn't wait for that area of interest. You took a stab long and then you took another one and that one failed. And now you're fucking tilted, right? So maybe that was the experience that occurred. And you need to be aware of that. You need to be mindful. And what belief caused that? The belief that yesterday I did something wrong, where no, that wasn't the case, right? So that's where journal plays a big role in the developing stages of a trader. Is that belief objectively true, right? Did I miss a trade? Like, sure, you missed a trade, but was it under context? Like, what's the context behind it? You didn't wait for your area of entry, so that wasn't a good trade, right? What belief would serve me better? Maybe it's the belief that you need to wait for your areas of interest to get hit, despite what the market happens. Why? Why, chat? Because anything can fucking happen. Anything can fucking happen, chat. Anything, doesn't matter who you are. No one's going to predict the market 100%. Anything can happen. So you have to have that mindset. So let's see, where do we leave off of? Is that belief objectively true? What belief would serve me better? Did we cover that or not? What belief would serve me better? Yeah, okay, yeah. So maybe it's waiting for that level to get hit prior to, or else you don't do anything, because all you're there to do is take certainty setups or setups that you have tested and you have your forward tested and that you know work. And you repeat that new belief 10 times as part of your journal. Affirm identity-based affirmations. I'm a consistent trader. I follow my edge and manage risk. I let go of the outcome. So these are just things that mentally I'm trying to align myself. And it sounds like a lot, but it's really, really not. Again, like I keep explaining, the morning routine mentally probably takes you 15, 20 minutes, literally 15, 20 minutes. Creating your game plan like you regularly do, you should be at least taking 30 minutes. If you're not, right? If you're not taking 30 minutes to read market and see where it's headed to next, you're fucking up. I'll be straight up. On top of that, if you're waking up 15 minutes before market open to create a 5-minute game plan, you really think people at fucking S&B Capital, for example, this big firm, prop firm, you think they're really doing that? No, the book that I read, it talks about how they go in literally 3 hours. Some traders go in 3 hours before market opens to prepare. If you really think you're better than these people and waking up 15 minutes before market opens, you're fucked. Like, I'm sorry, I'm just being blunt here. I think you're fucked. So yeah, going back to that, what's it called? Yeah, it doesn't take too fucking long. It doesn't. And yeah, this last part, I didn't really do this for too long, but these are just daily belief repetitions. I fully accept that anything can happen. Losses are the cost of doing business. Each trade is unique and independent. I don't need to know what's going to happen next. And then keep a belief bank. You'll notice that things that keep hurting you and that keep or that you feel like would help you. So keep those belief banks, as I like to call them, and then just maybe you have five good ones and 5 that have been helping you and 5 that haven't. And you just recite those over and over and over again, and that now becomes your new identity, right? And again, I got this from the power of the subconscious mind. The more it goes back to just simply put, you have 60,000 thoughts a day, and if you can, fill some of those thoughts a day with positive things about correct ways of trading, right? It's only going to make your psychology better. And then the weekly drop work, which is review emotional trades, rewire beliefs. And that's the review work mentally for the week. And tilt tracker, track mistakes, identify triggers, belief, and replacements. That's your goal as a trader. Your goal as a trader is to track mistakes, identify what triggered them, right? Bridge the gap between the emotion and the reaction. Us as humans, we're going to have emotions. We're going to have thoughts. Thoughts are going to turn into actions. Thoughts are going to turn into emotions. Emotions are going to turn into actions. So if at the emotion stage, if you're able to stop that knee-jerk reaction, right, and literally just pause and have your own reaction rather than a self-inflicting reaction, which is typically negative, put in place to actually try to protect you. Like, your mind is literally just trying to protect you. Protect you from what? Protect you from loss. Protect you from what it thinks danger is, right? A paper tiger, a fake fucking tiger. Your mind is primal, so it's doing the best it can So you're not singled out here. Everyone is going through this. If you didn't have emotion, you'd be a psychopath, right? If you didn't have emotion, you would probably be a horrible trader. Why? Because you wouldn't feel risk. You wouldn't feel being down 10R on the day because you'd be emotionless. You're like, I'm gonna keep trying, right? So having emotions is a good thing as a trader, and it's actually your edge. Your edge as a trader are emotions because it gives you signals as to what action you should do. But it's your goal to create. Your goal is to bridge the gap. So chat, fucking that is basically, yeah, currently about a little bit under 100 people still watching, which I genuinely believe those 100 people are going to be the ones that are actually going to move the needle here. Even if you're already at a place of profitability, I think doing this and implementing this can still yield results. And for me, at least, it wasn't until I started taking this serious that my trading started, as Jay calls it, like having a Nike swoosh effect. And let's see. I'm coming back here to chat. Let's see. W's, yo, Lomeli. Let's fucking go. Chat. W's in the chat if you guys fuck with that psychology video. Let me record this. W's in the chat if we fuck with this type of content. We just ran an hour-long psychology video on stream. Man, yeah. Game. Now we're going to run the giveaway here soon. W's in the fucking chat. Yeah. Fuck yeah, chat. Let's see. I know I lost some little luckiest. Oh, man, I'm fucking up. Bro has an alarm at 6. Someone said, bro has an alarm at 6:25. Fuck, luckiest they're on the East Coast. Yeah, East Coast trading is probably my favorite. More of this, bro. Great combo. Hell yeah. We might make it an ongoing series. We'll see. I'll talk to Jake, see if he's cool with that. But where anywhere we can get a copy of this guide. No more underwear at the desk. Nah, shit. You could do whatever you want, but for me, like I stay in fucking in shorts. Like I wear shorts 90% of the time. So I'll stay in shorts and a black tee. Like I'll go to bed. I'll have literally my clothes right next to me, and wake up. First thing I do, go kitchen, get a water. Like I said, walk, do that whole little routine. Come back, coffee, and yeah, I don't get ready. I just literally wash my face. Wash my face and brush my teeth. You said shorts. Time to short. Fuck no. Fuck no. Let's see what. Okay, so yeah, chat. I hope you guys enjoyed that talk. I hope you guys really, because I think that there's game in what I just, yeah, and I mean shit. There's really not much that's set up market wise. So, what a perfect day to do this. Honestly, appreciate that time of yours. No, fuck yeah, I appreciate you guys for fucking. It seems like you guys really enjoyed it, and I'm fucking. You guys enjoy it, and if you guys find value in it, I'm willing to keep doing them. Although I don't know how many we can do because there's only so much I can talk about, but we'll keep running with it. Fucking. So now what we'll do, chat, is we will run hold on one second. Stay put. Stay put. Stay put. Stay put 1 second. Let me see if we're running a giveaway today or not. Oh, okay. Fuck yeah, Jake. Okay, I just got a message from. I was gonna check to see if you had mentioned anything about not doing one today and holding off, but fuck yeah. So we are doing a giveaway here. It would be a Tradeify 50K account, and Jake, is it cool if I do the same thing where people just spam chat? Let's see. Yes, sir. Fuck yeah. All right. I'm off now. So, okay, chat. Okay, can you share the PDF? Okay, chat, what's the best way to share that PDF? I have it downloaded. Someone said a PDF before we run the giveaway here. Hold on. Let me see. So I have let's see. Yes. Post it. Okay, yeah. I can post it on Discord. Is everyone cool with that? I'll post it on Discord. Share the PDF on a Google Drive, then share the link with public. Let's see. Share the PDF on a Google Drive. Cancel. That was right here. 1 second, chat. Actually, I should probably close this real quick. Your boy's trying to print some shit. I'm trying to see if I can just leave it here for you guys now. Share. Go drive link. Okay, so I'm gonna save it as a drive. Let's see if I do this right. I haven't shared a fucking document in a minute. Okay, so I got a file here. So share. Careful, we're going to accidentally leak the nudes. Oh my god. Share. Only people with access to the link. Restricted. Copy link. Open with. Okay, yeah, you know what? I'll just upload it to Discord. I think we'll do that. I'll upload. Fuck, been speaking too long. I'll upload the fucking the PDF file to Discord. I think that's easier for me. So chat, we'll run the giveaway here now. Let's see. Let's see, chat. Back to face and chat here. Okay, let's see. Now what we'll do is we will run a giveaway here. Let me record it for stream. I mean for Instagram. Fire psychology. Hold on. Once again, hold on. Fire psychological talk today for about an hour or so. Now we are running the giveaway here. So chat, type W's in the chat, and I'll stop on a given name. W's in the chat. W's in the chat. Guess you guys will see it as well here on stream. W's in the, yeah. Keep spamming W's. W's in the chat. And I'll literally click on a name and you guys will see the name as well, I guess. Spam W's, spam, keep spamming. Buy your stream today. Let's see who's the 50K Tradify account giveaway here. Winner. Ready? 5, 4, 3, 2. RJV. I recognize. RJV Trades. Have you won before, brother? RJV. RJV, if you haven't won yet, all right, I selected the name. Never won. Okay, brother, you're the winner, guy. Just DM me on Instagram and I got you. At Lomeli. What the fuck? What just happened? Let's see. There you go. At Lomeli Trades, my guy. Just DM me and I got you with the code here after stream. Never won? Yeah, that's crazy. I see you on chat pretty often. Or really often, actually, that I memorized your name. Yeah, my guy. Fuck yeah. Yeah, just DM me and I got you. DM me and I got you. Fuck yeah, chat. Perfect timing. 2 hours in. Yeah. DMing now. Let's see. Perfect timing. We did an hour of brief light chart talk, which is what I explained what I was looking for as to why I wasn't really looking and trying anything long in this area. And yeah, then we hopped into the psychology talk here somewhere on charts. Or I don't have charts up, huh? But yeah, it doesn't matter. I'm not looking at charts. But yeah, fire stream, I think. We did a good psychology talk, in my opinion. And I hope you guys found value in it. And I'll post the what do you call it? The PDF on Discord. So if you're not on Discord, what are you doing, man? What are you doing? What are you doing? If you're not on Discord, what the fuck are you doing? Fuck yeah. DMing. I think I got your DM, brother. Or no, that wasn't you. Was it? Yeah, that's it for me, chat. That is it for me. Hope you guys have a good. Can you share the Discord link, please? Yeah, I got you. It is let me see. Let me see if that link plays out here. There you go. That's the link to Discord. And again, my Instagram would be, you guys feel free to follow at Lomeli Trades, chat. Man, this AC fucking way different. Don't forget to put PDF on Discord. No, I won't, brother. I got you. I'm gonna ask Jake where I should post it, but it would be on there somewhere. For sure. No doubt about it right now. Of course. I got you guys. Time to stand back up. Chat. Let's see. Ah, fuck. Man, I'm fucking sweaty. Fuck, chat. Ah, man, it's fucking hot. Right on. Lomeli just sent over. RJ Ville, let's see. I'm out. Have a good weekend. My guy, appreciate you for being here. Brother, I'm fucking sweating. It was hot as shit. As it is, I sweat a lot. It was fucking hot. The AC wasn't on. Yeah, have a good weekend, fam. We'll see you guys on Sunday stream for, we'll see if we have a weekend stream here. But if not, Sunday stream for sure. But yeah, chat, that's it for me. Have a good weekend, and I'll post the PDF on Discord here. The link is linked up above for both the Discord and my Instagram. Deuces, chat.